Hi, I'm Jason from StrataGames. Today we're playing some more Pauper. I've been trying to revisit some of the old decks from way back beyond Modern Horizons 3 that really fell off with Writhing Chrysalis, Sneaky Snacker, Nyxborn Hydra all becoming really powerful cards. And a deck I had been playing a lot before then was GlintBlade. And so I decided to revisit it. Who knows if this deck's still any good? I know a lot of people don't think it is, and it certainly hasn't turned up very much in challenges and trophies and things like that in leagues. But let's see if it's still got a little bit of juice to it. So the whole point of the game plan is to lay down our artifacts that have really powerful ETBs. Tithing Blade makes them sack a creature, Lembas draws this card, Refurbished Familiar makes them discard a card, and then pick those back up, getting additional value with our core Skyfishers and our Glint Hawks. Now, in order to get even more value, we also have Ephemerates, which can flicker either the Refurbished Familiars or our Glint Hawks and our core Skyfishers to be able to pick those back up. We're also just running a big Inspector package, so these can also just turn into clues if we need them to. We have a one of Omen of the Dead because this goes really powerfully with core Skyfisher. Skyfisher can pick it up from the graveyard, from the battlefield. Omen of the Dead can pick up the core Skyfisher from the graveyard, and then you can just keep looping those pretty much infinitely as long as your opponent doesn't have any enchantment removal or graveyard hate. We have a couple Suffocating Fumes main deck because we're really soft to just go wide strategies like Kuldotha Red. So these are good, and obviously they just cycle late game. We are quite the control deck. We have 4 cast downs because we like to blow up creatures, a couple Thraben Charms because these are nice removal for creatures or enchantments, and also can hit graveyards in our main deck. And then we also have some Deadly Disputes, because who doesn't like sacrificing your creatures when they're going to die anyway? We also make pretty good use of our mana base here. We have all 12 artifact lands that we can play. That's important for getting the Refurbished Familiar cheap. This obviously makes us susceptible to Dust, Cast into the Fire, and Gorilla Shaman, but that's just kind of the price that we pay. But we also have a Bajuka Bog to blow up graveyards, as well as the Thraben Charms. We have a Kabira Crossroads to gain a little bit of life, and a bunch of Orzhov Basilicas to pick those back up and gain us additional value from them. We also have a sideboard, of course. We have 4 Dust to Dusts for Affinity, 4 Navigator's Compass. This ETBs gains us 3 life, which is another artifact that we can pick up with our guys to get lots of bursts of life. Obviously, this is good against burn matchups. More Thraben Charms in case we go up against enchantment or graveyard decks. Standard Bearers for your Glee or Elves or things like that. Suffocating Fumes and Arms of Vidar for more crowd control. And another Extract Confession. We already have the Tithing Blades, but Extract can be really good if we need to snipe like a Bogle or something like that through tokens. So let's see if this deck is still worth playing. All right, we have just 1 land here, but we do have double Inspector. We are on the play, which I don't like with this kind of a hand. But everything else is 2 mana. Then again, most of the deck is. This is not a good hand. We got to mulligan it, sad as it is. This one's not great, but we do have our lands. So we're going to keep it, get rid of an Ancient Den, play our Goldmire, and pass. This one's not good because we don't have any creatures. Obviously, our first hand had quite a few creatures, which was good. But if we never drew another land, we would play 2 Inspectors and then lose the game. They are on White Weenies, which is a deck of that I enjoy very much. And I enjoy beating just as much. Let's play a Lembas, try to find some of those creatures. Refurbished Familiar is good. We're going to keep that for sure. Really good with our Ephemerate. I would have probably preferred a core Skyfisher here. It blocks really well. It picks up our Lembas. But I'm not going to turn down a 1 mana 2/1 flyer that makes them discard a card. And then lets us use a 1 mana Mind Rot on them. So they have a Novice Inspector. Having just any creature at all also makes it so that our Thraben Charm can now start killing off creatures if we need it to. They're also going to play a Thraben Inspector. So both varieties, both flavors of Inspector. And they're probably going to hit for 1 with their Veteran here. Let's draw something good. Of course, Skyfisher, like I said, would be a pretty good one. I don't hate a Thraben Inspector, actually. That's a good blocker for everything they got going on. It fits nicely into our curve. Lets us play this out as well as the Familiar and hold up our Ephemerate. So I think I'm okay with that. So we're going to play these and pass. They did discard a Battle Screech, which is a little bit annoying. But what are you going to do? We do have 2 Suffocating Fumes in the main deck, so ideally we will draw 2 of those. Play a Plains. Good news here is they have 2 tokens on the battlefield, of course. But they're low-ish on cards, so it's possible with the Refurbished Familiar we can take away a couple cards. Like if they pick up an Inspector here and then play it again, I can just Ephemerate, take their last 2 cards, which could be pretty good ones. Guardian's Pledges and the like. I think we're just going to do that. Never going to be upset about a 2-for-1 here. They're going to flash back their Battle Screech, so they have quite the board already. But let's see if we're just giving them more Battle Screeches to flashback. So they discard another, and that is in fact another Battle Screech. How lucky for them. Well, let's get the third one. That's what you got to do. Novice Inspector. Yeah, not the best hits. We have a Thraben Charm, so that can take out this. Play Thraben Inspector. I mean, they don't have great attacks. They only currently have 2 birds. So yeah, I guess we're just playing the Inspector. Play out our Vault and pass the turn. I think we probably trade this Familiar for one of these birds. They are going to have a lot more birds. It's going to trade for one of them sooner or later. Might as well get an earlier one. And in this way, we still have an artifact that we can pick up with our guys that'll be forthcoming. I'll block here. They didn't attack with everything, so I don't really expect a Guardian's Pledge. They could have it, but I'm just not really. It would be a bit of a waste. I could just blow up their 2 creatures from the grave here instead, but I'm hoping to draw to a Suffocating Fumes, so I think this will be better this way. All right, so we trade for that and then trade for a bird. They're going to flash back, and they also have another Skyfisher. Lucky them. What's it like to have it all? Oh, they picked up a Plains there. I guess they can flash back a clue token that way. Actually didn't go for the Battle Screech. They are worried about the Suffocating. Well, let's crack a clue. Cast down. I mean, that's okay. Play a land and gain 2 life. Pass the turn. So we can kill the Skyfisher, so we're not going to take much of a big hit here, which is nice. Maybe we can entice them then, since they're losing their big flyers, to do that Battle Screech for when we can hopefully Suffocating. Then again, they could just draw another Skyfisher here if they're quite lucky. So we're, obviously we have a lot of the same cards as them. We're a similar deck to them, but we are a little bit more controlling with our black removal spells and discard. They get a Militia Bugler. Let's see what Bugler picks up. It is a Lunarch Veteran. That's fine. Glint Hawk. There we go. That's not bad. Let's play a Glint Hawk. Pick up our Lembas and play it again. Try to find a Skyfisher if we can. I will definitely take another Glint Hawk and just play that and pick up our Lembas. That was pretty good. They're not going to be able to attack with their birds unless they have a Guardian's Pledge, or I guess Prismatic, but that's a waste because all of our creatures are white. So if there's no Guardian's Pledge, then our birds, their birds are stopped in their tracks. They can swing at the Bugler though, because we'd have to lose a Glint Hawk for it. I'm not sure I want to lose a Glint Hawk for it, but I guess it's probably worth it. We can hopefully find another flyer. This Lembas too. Yeah, they're going for it. Wish we had 3 Inspectors here. I think we'll take 1 hit. See if we can, if we do end up just finding another Inspector, I'd rather trade an Inspector for it if we have 3 to throw in front. That's a Plains. Let's just start with the Lembas. We get a Tithing Blade. Flipping that's not nothing, but the initial sack is pretty useless because they have so many creatures. I think we're going to bottom that. Cast down's okay. Let's crack our clue, see if we get like a Skyfisher. Omen of the Dead, that's not bad. All right, we get to pass here. If all they can attack with is the Bugler, we might just cast it down. But it's also possible we want to save the cast down for a Skyfisher. But we've already seen 2 of them, so I don't think we're going to hold our breath that another one's coming soon. Have an Informant, see if they pitch anything decent. Prismatic Strands is just kind of a full fog here until we get like a Refurbished Familiar down. So yeah, so they do have it, and it's fair to discard, but it's not as devastating in this match. Possible we actually another Informant. Yeah, if they go for the Militia again, I'll probably trade the Glint Hawk because we can then Omen of the Dead the Glint Hawk and then play the Glint Hawk, pick up the Lembas, play it again, and so we'll get our value there. They discard an Eagles of the North and an Idyllic Grange they have. Pump up something. Probably a bird, yep, because that'll trade for a Glint Hawk. I'm probably... These Informants are getting annoying because they're 3/2s. I'm probably casting down this bird, trading a Glint Hawk for a Militia Bugler. And then we have 2 Inspectors to eat these, trade for these Informants, so that's not bad either. So they have no tricks, so might as well just block like this, doesn't really matter. And yeah, gonna get rid of that bird. 2 Power Flyer is kind of their scariest creature at the moment. So, and probably going to be their scariest creature at all. Like a Skyfisher has an extra toughness, but since we don't know if there's a Skyfisher coming, we might as well use the cast down now. Try to keep our life total high. Another cast down is not bad. But yeah, we're just going to Omen of the Dead, back that Glint Hawk. I could also just go for the Refurbished Familiar. If I was tighter on mana, I would, but I have the mana, and this Glint Hawk has an extra toughness, which is quite relevant with these bird tokens. And it lets us get an extra scry out of our draw from this Lembas. So I think this is a little bit better. So let's do that, see what we get. Obviously more creatures is what we're hoping for. That or board wipes. It's lagging a little bit. Hey, Sky Fisher is exactly what we want. We're just going to play that right now. And question is, do we pick up this Omen of the Dead? Because then these go back and forth, or do we just pick up a Lembas and try to find more Sky Fishers? I think this is just going to stall them from attacking unless they get a Guardian's Pledge, which is going to be really bad for us, in which case we actually want to dig. So yeah, I think we go for the Lembas here. Because if they like attack with everything, then I'm going to expect that means they have a Guardian's Pledge, and that's pretty bad because we really don't have an answer to that at the moment. They don't even attack with their Informants. That's pretty interesting because I guess they're not willing to trade them for a Thraben Inspector, which I think is fair. Tithing Blade, like I mentioned, not amazing, but not terrible. I just didn't want it, like, I didn't want to choose to take it off the top, but, like, I don't hate it. Novice Inspector, I think we just need as many creatures as we can get here. I think I'll keep that. Play a Tithing Blade, which is going to eat, what, an Inspector or maybe a Lunarch Veteran if they prefer the flyer. And then I could play a Novice Inspector, but it's not super mana efficient. I could just hold up Cast Down, and then which blocks or deals with just as many creatures, and then next turn I can flip a Tithing Blade and Novice Inspector if we don't get anything else. So I think that's better. If they weren't at 35 life, I might try to start being a little more aggressive here and like sending one Glint Hawk or rather Skyfisher at them. They have a Thraben Charm. But yeah, this is kind of why I don't want to do that, is because they're at so much life that 2 damage is really not going to make that big of a difference at the moment. And if they have a little bit of removal, then they can maybe start attacking here. So we're holding back for a bit. There's a Phantom. They did sack the Lunarch Veteran to get the flyer. I think that's fair. 2 cards in hand. Starting with the Informants. So I think here we're going to double block with Inspectors and then maybe cast the other one down. We get to sit. One Inspector lives unless they have like a Thraben Charm here. So we have still decent blockers. And this is the scariest other creature on the board by a mile. Everything else is a 1-power creature. So, of course, they're gaining more life as their creatures die, but what are you going to do? We need to fully gain control of the board before we can really start attacking them. Suffocating would still go a long way for that. They have a Lunarch Veteran, and going to pass. Ephemerate's not bad. That lets us flicker a Glint Hawk, pick up a Lembas, or a Tithing Blade. Probably the Lembas. They could have a Thraben Charm here, but I don't think they are going to. I feel like they would have used it on a Thraben Inspector or something, clear out our guys. So I think we're going to attack here. If they go for a double block, we'll just Ephemerate. If they don't, hey, we get 2 damage in. We're going to Ephemerate no matter what. So we're going to do it now as well so that we can, hopefully don't get blown out, but so that we can Ephemerate, so that we can replay this Lembas and draw a card now. There we go. Pick up the Lembas. Play it again, and then on our upkeep we'll be able to pick it up again. Another Skyfisher, absolutely beautiful. So we're going to, we're just going to play that. This time we're going to pick up the Omen of the Dead because it can get back our other Skyfisher. We're going to pick that up, and then Omen now doesn't really make a difference, so I'd rather have the blocker in case they do go for a flunch. So I'm going to play that, and I'm going to pass. So we're doing okay here. A lot of good value going on. I think we're finally starting to pull ahead. We just need to not die to a big attack. They have a Skyfisher. That's decent value for them. They either get to get a clue, or they can return this, and then they get the creature back. They go for the Inspector, wanting that clue, which is reasonable. They just have a Plains, play the Inspector. Okay, so once again, no cards in hand, but they can draw one off the clue. See if they get a 1-drop. And they do. A Judge is familiar. I was trying these out a couple weeks ago. Didn't really care for them in the deck, but I respect someone trying to. We get to Ephemerate here. What do we want to pick up is the question. Probably just this Lembas. So yeah, I might as well pick up this, or rather flicker this Glint Hawk. And pick up Lembas. And again, I could go for Tithing Blade. Each creature they have gone, even though it is just one random creature, is one fewer creature that the Guardian's Pledge is going to buff when they inevitably find it. We do already have a Clue and a Core Skyfisher coming back, so I actually will go for this Tithing Blade. And we drew a Lembas anyway. Okay, in that case, I think we'll play the Lembas. See what we find here. Deadly Dispute. I mean, I'm not going to say no to a Deadly Dispute. We have 2 Lembases, and we don't really need the life at the moment, so I think we're just going to Deadly Dispute a Lembas. Draw something good. Jukabog gets our Prismatic, but again, that doesn't really do anything versus us. So I think instead we're going to just play Ancient Den. I tapped out of too much black, so I can't play both of these. That was a bit of a mistake. I could just Omen at the Dead, pick up our Skyfisher, pick up the Omen again. I do actually have the Treasure if I really want to do both of these. So I think we play... yeah, let's play Omen at the Dead. So pick up our Skyfisher, rebuy our Omen, and then we have the Treasure if we want to flash this in. I guess it doesn't really matter if we flash it in or not. But we'll go for that and pass. Definitely a tough spot. Quite the board stall. We still need to find Suffocating before they find Guardians. That's really what the game is about, I think. So I probably need to be just a little more aggressive in digging. Okay, they didn't go for anything here, though. Goldmire Bridge. Yeah, let's just crack a Clue. Another Tithing Blade. I mean, that's not bad. Let's just double Tithing, make them sack a couple creatures. If they sack Lunarch Veterans, we can get them with the Bojuka Bog. That'd be pretty cool. They do sack 1. So let's play another one. Try to get the other veteran. Nice. Yeah, we got them both. Then we'll Bojuka Bog, take them both away. That's pretty good value for us. And then we pass, and now we can start flipping Tithing Blades, I think. It's going to be a slow game if we're planning to win through Tithing Blades, but that's what we got going for us right now. They have a Thraben Inspector, so that's a draw. And what do they got? Looks like nothing. Thraben Inspector for us. So we have 8 mana, so I can play this and crack the Clue and still flip a Tithing. Let's give that a go, see if we draw anything better than flipping a Blade. Another one. I think we'll just play another one and flip another one next turn. So I think we're just going for this. Exile this Thraben Inspector. Hey, if we get 3 of these flipped, maybe game won't take too long. We're going to pass and start the life gain a-rolling. Start bringing them down from their 46 life mountain that they have over there. They pass again. Let's drain them. Suffocating. There it is. So I feel like if they had a Guardian's Pledge, they would have tried to go for it by now. So I feel like it's probably pretty safe that I can just use this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It only kills 4 creatures. They have 4 others. And of course, they're going to make us pay an extra mana for it. So this costs 4. So question is, do I want to like attack with a bunch of inspectors first and then see if they block with their inspectors? I think probably. If they have a Guardian's Pledge, it's pretty bad, but I don't think that's how they would play it. I feel like the cards in their hand could be more lands, could be Thraben Charm, could be Prismatic, all of which is kind of fine. Or I could go Suffocating Fumes, Tithing Blade, and then I can swing. Yeah, maybe that's a little better, a little safer. Because if they do have the Guardians, I'd rather them just use it now. So let's just go for that. Suffocating Fumes, yep. Okay, killed a bunch, nice. And now we'll attack with a bunch of guys, I guess. Not too many, because they're still going to have these back. This is, what, 7 damage? We'll have block, block, block. I think that's fine. Plus, we're going to kill one more with a Tithing Blade. Actually, maybe we just flip this other Tithing Blade this turn, since we have the mana for it. I think that's a little better, because we have a Refurbished in the Grave. We'll do that, and then I guess I could still play this Tithing, but then we don't have up Lembas or Omen at the Dead. I think it's fine. I think we'll pass here. So yeah, that Suffocating Fumes was pretty good. Obviously, they've still got creatures now, so like we only had that one pretty decent attack, and then we're gonna get bricked. But you know, we got to hit for a bit, and then we have our Sepulchers going. So I think we're okay here. All right, upkeep, drain for 2. Glint Hawk, okay. So let's Tithing, Glint Hawk Tithing, take away 2 of their inspectors. And they're going to concede right there. All right, what a long game. We were able to make it. We get another Suffocating Fumes and an Arms of Hadar. Thraben Charms if we want them, and Extract Confession if we want it. I don't think we want Extract. Doesn't feel that good. But I could see Thraben Charms. Is there anything bad here? I guess. I mean, Thraben Charm, like, they don't have any enchantments. It's a bad cast down, but it can hit their graveyard, which can be relevant. But maybe they are just worse than the other things. And we do still have Bojuka Bog, so maybe we just do that. I think that's fine. All right, now we have 4 board wipes to find. All right, this hand looks pretty good. 3 nice creatures with the Tithing Blade, Deadly Dispute, our stuff going on here. I think everything looks solid. They got a Veteran turn 1. We're going to Goldmire Bridge. We do need to be careful because they probably brought in a bunch of Dust to Dusts, so I'd rather not have 2 artifact lands on the field if we can, but we might have to just deal with it. Of course, if we play this Tithing Blade, then they're going to be able to Dust to Dust those, so we might also want to be careful about playing Tithing Blade and picking it right back up with the Glint Hawk. Orzhov Basilica. If we play that, we have to discard. No, because we can play Thraben Inspector first. It's awkward picking up the bridge, but actually I don't hate it because I'd like to keep our artifacts off the field. So yeah, let's do that. This puts a clue on the field, but then the Goldmire goes away, so they actually can't Dust to Dust us. And the next turn I can also play a Plains, and then Tithing Blade Glint Hawk it back, and we still don't have 2 artifacts, and we can do that like 2 turns in a row, and then we can Skyfisher, and that'll be pretty good. So if they're gonna plan on a Dust to Dust to get them this game, we're going to at least delay it for several turns, which I think will be pretty good. They're going to Bugle. They get an Inspector off of it. Bugle indeed. Another Tithing Blade. Don't really need another, but we will start playing it and picking off their creatures. They're going to sack this Veteran first, I assume. We're going to pick it back up with this Glint Hawk. So next turn, we can do the same thing, which is pretty cool, but then if we play the Goldmire, they will be able to take out the Goldmire and the Clue. But if they're taking out 1 land that is our 4th source and also a Clue, like with their Dust to Dust, I'm not too worried about that. As long as they're not getting Tithing Blades or like 2 of our lands, I'm kind of okay with it. I think we let this through. I could go for the double block, but if they have a Thraben Charm, it's quite the blowout. And our flyers are pretty valuable, so I don't think we're gonna. I don't think we really want to trade this for this anyway. They have a Skyfisher, so a flyer of their own. Pick up that Inspector, I'm assuming, and then play 2 more. There's the first, and there's the second. So they do have, of course, fodder for these Tithing Blades. We know that that's the deck they're playing, but that's still fine. Yeah, we have tap lands, so we can't do the same thing with Core Skyfisher. We got to keep doing it with the Glint Hawk, but I think that's okay. So they're getting value along the way. We're getting, I think, a little bit more value, so I'm pretty happy with how things are going. They are hitting in for a little bit of damage, but now we can maybe go for a triple block on like the Bugler, and they'd have to have 2 Thraben Charms to really be able to get us, or I guess Guardian's Pledge and a Thraben Charm. Either way, kind of fine. So if they go for that attack, I think we do triple block it. If they just swing with the Skyfisher, I can't really double block because 1 Thraben Charm again kind of wrecks us. They're also swinging with the Thraben Inspector though, so this is definitely telegraphing a Guardian's Pledge. So I could triple block the Militia Bugler, but then the Guardian's Pledge makes it so that we lose 2 Glint Hawks. But if I just double block the Inspector here, then 1 Guardian's Pledge only lets them trade for 1 Glint Hawk, and we take 8. So I think that's probably the best. And if they have Remosian Rally, which decks almost never play, I don't think there's a reason to not block with this Inspector here. So I think we'll do this. The best they can do is a Guardian's Pledge trade for a Glint Hawk, and we take 8. Which I'm kind of okay with because that means they're probably not playing creatures and they're losing a creature, which means our Tithing Blades are going to be really good. Because if this turn we can put them down to 2 creatures and then double Tithing Blade them, we're in the business. So that's the dream. But then again, they could still play a 1-drop. They haven't played a land yet. They do have Remosian Rally. Look at that, no scope. I was like, they might have this. And they did. Now, that's pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make much of a difference. It's pretty much just the Guardians, same as Guardian's Pledge in this case, unless they also have the Thraben Charm, which they do. And that's why I blocked with the Inspector, was so that we would still kill this. So if they have a 3rd or a 2nd Thraben Charm, they got me. But if not, look at that. And that's why there's no reason not to block with that Thraben Inspector. I could not imagine a reason we'd get punished by blocking with it, but we would have gotten punished if we didn't block with it. And that's pretty cool, especially because we get to wipe their board now with these Tithing Blades, and that's going to be pretty cool as well. And now I'm feeling really good, not just because I made a really cool call that I'm going to be very humble about, but also because we have a couple more cards than they do, although they have clues. We also have Tithing Blades we can start flipping pretty quickly. If they play just 1 creature here, we can Skyfisher, Tithing Blade it, plus get down another Inspector. We have a pretty good turn lined up here. They have a Rafine's Informant. And they can, at the very least, get back this veteran. They do have a prismatic, and they play a plains, novice inspector. Okay, so they're back up to 3 creatures with that veteran. Or they could just, yeah, leave the clue. Ancient Den. Okay, well, we still just want to keep their creature count low. So we're going to pick up this Tithing Blade, play it again, make them sack their inspector, and pass. We're going to pass because we leave up a clue and a deadly dispute this way. So if they have a removal spell, we can deadly. If not, clue. I'll probably just trade the Skyfisher for this Rafine's Informant too, because we don't want to take 3 damage, and we are running them out of resources. At some point, we will get there. So I think that's fine. And of course, if they have something to say about it, you know, like a pump spell, we'll just deadly dispute the Skyfisher. You get this guy back, and there's a Skyfisher of their own. So I'll probably pick this guy up, I would bet. No, they just went for the plains. They went for the tempo of getting this card now rather than the value, which I can respect. They do need to clean this game up quickly. I think we're still going to block here, even though they now have a Skyfisher that I want to deal with. Then again, I have another Inspector in hand, so if I just play that, the 2 Inspectors will deal with the Informant. Yeah, because if we don't get another way to deal with the Flyers, that's worse. So actually, I think we're going to take 3. This means I kind of wish I played this Inspector, but what are you going to do? Crack that clue. Cast down's pretty good. Ephemerate's pretty good. Okay. Play an Inspector, and I think we just pass. No, I think I can afford to sack this clue now. I don't think I'm going to need to cast all of this. Another Skyfisher. If I play that, all I have up is Ephemerate. But I think that's all I kind of really need. Because if they try to kill something, I'll just Ephemerate it. So yeah, actually we'll do this. Pick up a Tithing. Pass. Now if they attack with the Informant, I'll double block with Inspectors. If they attack with the Skyfisher, I'll double block with Skyfishers. If they attack with everything, I will do probably just both of those things that I said individually, but I'll do them at the same time. There's another Informant. Let's see what they're discarding. Battle Screech. Alright. Tithing Blade's worse, and again we need to find a board wipe. We have 4 of them left. Still. Haven't used any. Question is, do I just Ephemerate here on the end step? Hit a Skyfisher, pick up a Tithing Blade. Then it goes off at the upkeep. I pick up an Inspector, and then I can replay Tithing Blade, Inspector, maybe another Tithing Blade. I don't think that's quite worth it, because instead I can just Tithing from hand, cast down Deadly Dispute, so I don't think we're going to need to do that right now. Deadly Dispute. So let's Tithing. And I think we're just going to pass. We have enough instants that I'm going to accept that holding them all up is probably pretty good here. I could just Deadly Dispute a Tithing Blade now. It's not terrible either. I don't think we're actually going to be able to flip both of these based on how the game's going. And if I get a land here, it'd be pretty good. There's a land. I have a Black-White here, so actually, yeah, we can now play this Refurbished. Take their last card. They can crack a clue to make it so they can keep the 1 card if they want. It looks like it. Maybe we just Ephemerate the Familiar now then, because clearly they have a card they're saving. Yeah, and then we still have Cast Down or Deadly Dispute up. I think that's good. I definitely think disputing as we did was good. They have a Thraben Charm. Well, I'm going to hope that their last card's not another Thraben Charm as we try to take it here. But clearly they wanted to... Yep, that's a Dust to Dust. So they were saving that for like a Tithing Blade and a Refurbished or something, because I think we had both Tithing Blades out already, right? No, I guess we played once. They were saving it for 2 Tithing Blades. Yeah, we got them real good. Cool. So in our upkeep, we're going to get to take their card again. Not like their jacket, like granny jacket, like a cardigan, but like their card. You understand. So make them discard something here. Say plains, that's fine. Ancient Den. Okay. We're going to flip this Tithing Blade. Of course, if we get like a Glint Hawk or an Omen of the Dead or something, you know, we might have to pick it back up. But we don't know that's going to happen yet, and we might as well wait on it. I did like using this Deadly Dispute last time. They don't have a removal spell at the moment. I think we'll just do it on this treasure. Should have done that first, of course. Tithing Blade, Thraben. Sure, let's just play the Thraben. I don't think we need to cast up, down. Directions. We don't need to cast down held up as desperately here because we have a bunch of Flyers to block. Yeah, Militia Bugler's fine. Let's bugle away. Bugles into an Informant. That's a 2-1, maybe a 3-2 if they're lucky. Are they lucky? Nope, they're not. All right, it's about time we drew an Arms of Hadar, don't you think? Let's drain him for 1. Ancient Den. Let's crack a clue. That's a cast down. All right, well. Do I want a Tithing Blade? Because they're going to sack like a bird or an informant that's going to die to our thing. You know the thing. Our Arms of Hadar or the other thing. Or I could just play the Tithing and flip it. 1, 2, 5. But then I can't hold up cast down. Yeah, it's a little awkward because if we know we're getting a Suffocating or an Arms of Hadar soon, we can use that on the small creatures and then Tithing can hit a bigger creature. But if we don't know that, and I'd rather potentially get this other Tithing Blade going. In fact, are we still holding the line pretty well here? Yes, unless they get like a something. But we have 6 and 6. I think we're actually just going to flip this Tithing Blade. You know? I think it's okay. If they happen to top deck the Guardian's Pledge or an Eagles of the North, heaven forbid, then it's pretty bad that we don't have either of our cast downs up. But that's only a few cards that they could draw, and this is better if we don't. Skyfisher's not a bad draw for them, but it's not amazing. They're probably going to go for a Bugler, since mana isn't a big deal here, and they can dig as deeply as they want. Yep. To try to find something. Bugler. Very well. Good news is we're not taking a big hit this turn. They get another Informant. Can't play it yet. All right, and we're draining for 2 every turn, so would love another Deadly Dispute or something, I will say. Ping him for 2. Lembas, that's not a bad one. I'll take it. Looking for creatures. Ephemerate's perfect. We could do that on the Familiar to take their Fiends. We could do it on a Skyfisher to pick up Lembas. I think we want to pick up Lembas. Again, we want to dig. I think we'll just go for digging. So pick up the Lembas, play that. Deadly Dispute, we're not going to turn that down. No, sir. Sack a treasure with it. Tithing Blade cast down. I mean, I think there's no real reason to Tithing Blade at this moment. We have oodles of cast downs, so I don't think we're too worried about, dying here. And so we might as well save this Tithing Blade for the post board wipe. We'll probably throw out a cast down here on a Skyfisher, though, since we have it, and they're not going to die with the board wipes anyway. All right. Boom. Drain them. Ephemerate is going to hit Refurbish to take their last card, or I guess we could keep digging. I think we keep digging, so let's go for a Skyfisher. Pick up the Lembas. Omen of the Dead, that's not bad. No creatures in the grave right now, but if we get a Skyfisher in there, it's pretty decent. Another Ephemerate, we're taking it. Let's keep going. We're both low-ish on time, 6 minutes, but we are up a game, so I think that's pretty good for us, as long as we just make sure we don't time out. Glint Hawk, I mean, we're not throwing that back. That's for darn sure. Play a Glint Hawk, pick up the Lembas. We still have 2 mana, so we have a cast down up. I think we're okay. Goldmire Bridge, we don't need. Core Skyfisher, I think we're going to hold that back and pass to them. All 4 of our board wipes are in the bottom half of our deck. I don't want to complain too much, but I will start to if we don't find it after this Battle Screech. They do get 4 birds here. I think we are casting down a Skyfisher here. We have to we have to use a treasure on it, but we use up one of our mana that we don't want to waste. So we'll do that. We want to keep their creature count low, too. All right, Ephemerate is going to pick up this. What are we going for now? I guess we're going to go for the Familiar. Take their card, because they could be sandbagging something like a Rally that they don't think is quite good enough. I don't know. It could just be a land, and it was. Let's play a Skyfisher, pick up a Lembas, play that, get rid of a Crossroads, Suffocating Fumes, there it is. So let's just play that right now. It's 6, 7 other creatures? Okay, there we go. It took us a while. It took us 35 cards to get through, plus some scries to the bottom, but we were able to find it. And yeah, I mean, they would lose all but 1, 2, 3 of their creatures, and then we Tithing Blade one of them away, and we definitely get the game from there. So nice start to the league. This hand looks pretty good. We got Glint Hawks. Refurbished is not 1 mana yet. Like, it's not going to be something we can throw out really early, but another Glint Hawk. Almost a little Glint Hawk heavy. We're going to start with the Vault of Whispers in case we draw any more. We can't play any of our white 1-drops on turn 1 anyway. Ephemerates and Glint Hawks don't work there. So we might as well play this in case we draw another artifact that we want to play. Ooh, teeny tiny Ichor Wellspring over here. Grixis looks like. Grixis Affinity. I know it well. play a plains. Just going to start with Olympus. Looking for another land. Artifact land would be great. I actually don't think we want a refurbished familiar. We have so many flyers. We already have a familiar. We have Olympus to pick up. I think we just want to find Tithing Blades. Excuse me. Not bad if they play like one creature. But we really just want to find lands. So obviously, you know, you hate to throw away the familiar like that. So much value, but not what we need at the moment. They're going to just Deadly Dispute their Wellspring, looking for a land, I would assume. And they found it. Mistfall Bridge, and they got a Blood Fountain, so no discard here. Pretty good start for them. Seeing if they have anything else. They don't. Ooh, Inspector's not bad. It's not a land, and we can't Glint Hawk Lembas to try to find a land, but at the very least, it is an artifact, so it allows us to play it and our familiar in the same turn. So not terrible, some good value, but missing that land is going to hurt for sure, especially with as much value as we have. Like each Glint Hawk is a 1-mana spell that needs you to pay 1 or 2 other mana to get full value, right? Out of our Refurbished Familiar or our Lembas, which means really we have like 15 mana value worth of cards in our hand, and that's going to be tough to deploy very quickly with just 2 mana. They play another Blood Fountain. That is 6 artifacts for them because this swamp is not an artifact. So Mirror Enforcers still cost a pathetic 1 mana. Very expensive cards they are. So they might be deciding how best they want to get that other artifact. If they don't have another Wellspring, you know, it can be tough to really get there. Oh, they're going to pay 1 mana for that Mirror Enforcer. Oof, and then 0 for the next and 0 for the next. That's devastating, ladies and gentlemen. That is a tough thing to do, paying 1 mana for your 12 power. No land again, so we could Glint Hawk at Lembas, we could Core Skyfisher or Lembas. Neither of those really does a lot. We're going to Tithing Blade. It's not great either, but it makes us die a little bit slower. And if they don't get to their 4th land, maybe we can survive by killing off their Mirror Enforcers. There's their 4th land, so that's not really going to work. We're going to just take 12 here. Not 12, 8. We did reduce that a little bit. It's possible I should have cast down the Mirror Enforcer so that I then play the Tithing Blade and they can't Deadly Dispute the Mirror Enforcer. But I didn't do that. They have a Cart Clan, and they Deadly Disputed, and our 4th Glint Hawk. You know, usually I love to see the Glint Hawks, but just not quite this quickly with very few lands. I can kill a Mirror Enforcer with the cast down, but that actually just makes it so they can buy them both back. We really don't have much going on here. I think in order to win, we're going to need to get lucky, so I'm going to crack this clue to see if we get a Plains for a Glint Hawk. Because if we just Core Skyfish or pick up a Tithing Blade, like we're toast. So the best we can do is find that land right now, and if we don't, we've already lost. That's due to us drawing poorly, not finding our land, and then them having the crazy triple Mirror Enforcer start, which is always a tough one to beat. Good news, we do get Dust to Dusts out of the sideboard, as well as more Thraben Charms if we want more than 2, which we probably do. You know, that's not bad. They really don't want to see us to see another card out of our deck. Look, it's a Thraben Inspector, and we'll concede right there because we simply do not have anything going on. All right, so we get those Dust to Dusts, and yeah, I think I like the Thraben Charms. Suffocating doesn't do anything here. I mean, Tithing Blade's not amazing, but it's not terrible, and I don't think we can afford to take out that many artifacts without at least putting in the Navigator's Compasses. We don't really want those in this matchup. So, what other cards are we pulling out for these? Maybe we don't need 4. I guess we already have the Bajuka Bog, so this is 5 sources, mostly just to blow up their graveyard. So I guess maybe we do leave these 2 out, and then we take out, like, a Cast Down, seeing as these are all removal spells, not these. These are removal spells. Take out down a Cast Down and a Deadly Dispute. I guess Inspectors don't do a lot. They probably will take out their Cart Clans, but Inspectors don't do a lot against them. They just chump, really. So maybe Cast Down's better than them, actually. Let's try it like that. Just a Plains here is going to be a mulligan. Okay, this one's keepable. Got to throw back something, though. It's not going to be a land. I think maybe it's a Cast Down. Is that greedy? I think it's okay. Play Goldmire Bridge and pass. to them. So turn 2, we can go Refurbished Familiar, and then turn 3, we can core Skyfisher, or I could go Bridge on turn 2 right now, and then next turn I can go Familiar and Skyfisher. It means we don't get to attack for 2, but it actually secures a little bit better our value. So I think we're going to go with that. Goldmire Bridge, secure the value. Secure the bag, as it were. They have a Vault of Whispers. There's Nicker Wellspring, so not going to interfere with us here. Another Refurbished Familiar. So yeah, we're going to play the Refurbished, take a card, Skyfisher. Next turn we get to play 2 Refurbished. We just get a swamp out of them. We'll pass. Trying to give them a taste of their own medicine. Yeah, discard cards, see how you like it. Well, if they Deadly Dispute, they're going to like it fine, because they are at 9 cards in hand. Okay, they have a Great Furnace and Bolt this, maybe. Oh, they have a Gorilla Shaman. Lucky them. We don't have our Dust to Dust, but they have their Gorilla Shaman. That's good for them. We have an Ancient Den, so I can play that. So if I don't play that, my Familiars cost 2, so I think I have to play it. Play a Familiar, and then when they try to blow it up, I Deadly Dispute it. I think that's the play. Or I could just Deadly Dispute it my own right now, and then I could play another Familiar off of it. I think that's actually a little better. Deadly Dispute it. We're still going to have 3 artifacts, right? So then we're going to get another Familiar. Play this, make them lose a card. Play this, make them lose a card. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It doesn't get them to use their 1 mana to blow up our thing, which is not that big of a deal, because this way we get a little more pressure. If they don't have a way to deal with all these, we can just kind of beat them in the skies. They do Thoughtcast here, so still drawing cards. And they have a black mana, or what? Yeah, Blood Fountain, of course. They pass, and it looks like they have a couple Galvanics, maybe. Glint Hawk. Well, we're going to attack, see if they have any responses here. If not, they just take 6, and I don't hate that. Okay, so I guess we're going to play a Glint Hawk. If they kill both of these Familiars in response now, the Glint Hawk has to pick up a Goldmire Bridge. Not amazing, but like kind of fine, I think. They're going to Deadly Dispute their treasure, seeing if they have anything. And it looks like not. So yeah, we'll pick up that Familiar, play it again, and then we'll Basilica back our Goldmire. I mean, they have so many Deadly Disputes that we're not like, they're not at 0 cards or anything, but we're making them use their cards mostly just to continue having cards in hand. And also, we just hit them for 6. Next turn, we can hit them for 8. So, I think we're in a decent spot here, as long as they don't have a good way to wipe the board here. They did keep Toxin in, I notice, which means they probably also have Cart Clan, which is totally fine. Not really that good for us. Gorilla Shaman attack. I'm assuming this is probably just they're going to Deadly Dispute it. But if I block here, it's possible they play a Makeshift Munitions and then they can shoot the Glint Hawk. So I don't think the 1 damage is worth the potential harm it could cause. It's also possible they have a Breath Weapon and they're going to wipe the board anyway. Breath Weapon's not seen as much since obviously they have Cart Clan as a better, most times, Breath Weapon. Yeah, it was the Deadly Dispute angle. I understand. They play a Bridge. And even if they get some Enforcers down here, we just have a lot of Flyers. This is what we needed last game, and what we would have had with the 4 Glint Hawks in hand if we just drew some lands. Looks like they might have a Kenku. No, they do have the Breath Weapon? Well, that's lucky of them to be playing that, I suppose. Well, that is annoying. Let's attack them with the Skyfisher. For 2, play a Goldmire Bridge, play a Refurbished, and we can hold up an Ephemerate here if they try to kill either of these. They can buy back with their Blood Fountain their Gorilla Shaman, but that's the only creature in their grave. Thoughtcast. So I think they really need a Kenku Refurbished Familiar. Okay, that's pretty good as well. Really don't want to sack either of these, or discard either of these. I could Ephemerate in response. What does that really do for us? I mean, I could Ephemerate our Skyfisher, pick up a Goldmire Bridge and discard that. If they have a Galv Blast, it goes bad though. It's not really amazing anyway. I guess we just get rid of the Ephemerate. Not my favorite thing to do, for sure. But what are you gonna do? They have a Wellspring here, play a land, another Blood Fountain, and they pass to us. Cast down's not bad. We can cast down this Refurbished. Of course, they get it back, but then we can attack for 4. I think maybe we just... But then they're going to play it again. We're going to need to Deadly Dispute a land, probably, so I think we might as well just do that now. Thraben Charm and a Glint Hawk. I can't Glint Hawk this Refurbished, but we have a Thraben Charm. Actually, maybe I just attack with the Skyfisher, or... Yeah, so I attack with Skyfisher. They might be eager to block with the Refurbished because it gives them a second creature to buy back with the Blood Fountain, and then we can just hold up Thraben Charm. Because I could attack with both, but then we don't really have a great Glint Hawk buying back card. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, they didn't chump. That's still fine. Pass here. I guess I could have Glint Hawked this refurbished, and with our treasure and our gold mire, I could have played it for 2 mana, but I don't think I needed to do that either. Another Wellspring. Draw a card. They're going to crack their blood. I mean, I like that they're just digging for stuff. Discard a bridge. That means they're getting flooded or drawing a lot of card draw, but when they start using the blood, that means that it pretty much means that they have all lands in hand. Speaking of, they play one, they have a Mirror Enforcer, and they have a Galvanic Blast for our Skyfisher. I can't save that, but they did just tap out of Blood Fountain range, which is nice, so that means I can cast down a Refurbished, maybe. Oh, unless they also have a Galvanic. Okay, so it wasn't that they only had lands, they just happen to have a lot of Galv Blasts. That's annoying. Our Glint Hawk is bad now. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to cast down the Refurbished Familiar and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or no, they use their treasure. So I'd rather them sack a Blood Fountain to get back their guys and then I blow up the Thraben Charm rather than just using it now and them having their Blood Fountains. But if they have both up, then that might be worse. But in any case, I kind of just have to play this Glint Hawk for no value. Pick up this Goldmire Bridge and replay it. And then they have one refurbished. Yeah, so if they draw a land, an untapped land, and then play it, then it gets bad. They're Blood Fountains. But I'm going to bank on them not getting that. We will see. Or at least not playing it before using their Blood Fountain. And they did not. So they're going for it. Let's exile their graveyard. So a little more dangerous this way, but this way we get to take care of one of their Blood Fountains and 4 of their mana, rather than just making sure they don't have anything to buy back. And now they don't have flyers, so they just have to attack with their Mirror Enforcer. If they have a blast for this, we can keep it alive with an Ephemerate, which is obviously not great value either, but it is at least something. And they have a Deadly Dispute. Well, I mean, that's a draw 3, so I guess we're probably still toast then. But they play a land, and what else they got? Pass. Okay, well, Dust to Dust is decent. We're going to attack for 2. What do we Dust to Dust? Mirror Enforcer for sure. Blood Fountain doesn't do anything at the moment. Do I just go for an Ichor Wellspring, make it so that their next Deadly Dispute is worse? Because I don't think a land matters at this point. There's no way I can really cut them off of anything, or like a color or a number of mana that really matters. So I think it's the Ichor Wellspring or the Blood Fountain. Blood Fountain doesn't do anything at the moment. It will be good later, but I think we're trying to just kill them quickly, so I guess we'll go for the Wellspring. I don't know. If they have a Deadly Dispute now, obviously they just use it on the Wellspring. It doesn't really matter, but you know, what are you going to do? They have a Bargain, which they use on the Mirror Enforcer. So yeah, I guess that's a reason to get rid of the Blood Fountain, because this way they can buy back the Enforcer. Yeah, I guess that's a little wrong, probably. Also, gaining 7 life is pretty bad for us. Deck's hard to deal with, you know? Another Enforcer. Bridge. This is a Kenku. Yep. Well, I think Kenku is going to probably do it, unless we draw another Dust to Dust would be great now, because we can take out Bridge, Mirror Enforcer, and a Kark Clan. They had a couple turns where they were drawing all lands and draw spells, but they have recovered nicely. Let's see another Dust to Dust, please. I guess it doesn't even do everything, because they can still sack the Mirror Enforcer, which is pretty annoying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Goldmire Bridge. I think we're dead, but might as well make sure. Attack for 2. We're taking 9. I don't think there's any way we can get out of this. Yeah, let's just call it, I think. All right, this hand looks okay. We have enough lands, which seems to have been our problem previously. Don't have a lot of our key cards, those being our birds and our zombie birds, rats, and our core warriors? Core soldier, probably. Anyway. Fairy Miscreant. Okay, so we're against Mono Blue Fae, it looks like. We do get a bird here, which is good, but also we don't really have anything good to pick up with it yet. I might just... Is it too aggressive to just cast this down right now so that they can't get a ninja? I guess if they just go for a ninja, I could just cast that down. I mean, we're attacking either way because this isn't blocking. So let's do that. I definitely want to save the Glint Hawk at least a turn or two to see if we can get something a little bit more valuable, or at the very least, picking up a land when it's not going to impact like our land development. So yeah, I think maybe I just play this Vault of Whispers and I pass. I have the cast down, so if they go for a big ninja, I can kill it. If they go for a small ninja, I can kill it unless they have like a spell pierce. And if nothing else, I can crack a clue. So I think that's probably for the best. Looks like they are flipping it into a ninja. No? Okay, we'll take one. I can live with that. Cool. So we'll just draw a clue. Draw from our clue, that is, Vault of Whispers and Novice Inspector. So let's attack. If I play a Novice Inspector and they spell stutter, I have a cast down, but they have 2 fairies, so that's not really going to fly very well. I mean, this doesn't fly at all. So we just play a Vault of Whispers and pass here. And we'll see what they do. They go to their turn. Swing with the Miscreant and just pass. Okay, we will continue to pass. Ooh, Furbished is good because it is cheap, but it also does not get countered by a spell stutter. So let's play that. Of course, it can just get counterspelled, but I can't do anything about that. But then at the very least, we can maybe like play Glint Hawk, pick up our Ancient Den, play it again, play a Novice Inspector. Yeah, so, and then they're out of spell stutter mana, so we can kind of get our 1-drops down while they don't have that, which I think is decent. It's Glint Hawk, pick up this Ancient Den, play it. Yeah, it's a little mana inefficient here, but again, I kind of just want to get our 1-drops down, our sorcery speed 1-drops down while they don't have a spell stutter up. I think that's a little bit better. The next turn we can crack a clue, an Orzhov Basilica maybe. We also now have a blocker for this Miscreant. And we get to start being a little more aggressive, which is nice here. Got to watch out for the Brian Barrow Intruders, of course. Always a dangerous one. We have a Bajuka Bog. I don't think that really matters in this matchup. So let's just swing with the team. They go for a Brian Barrow, double block an Inspector. First of all, it's not that big of a deal if we lose one of those, but also we can like Deadly Dispute it or something like that. Okay. Let's just play Bajuka Bog. Again, doesn't really matter. I'd rather not play the Basilica, though, and go down to 2 mana when we could have up Ephemerate plus Cast Down, which I kind of like. Spell Stutter here. Okay, let's see if they got anything else. They're going to try to snap our Glint Hawk. I could Ephemerate. We don't get a ton of value from that, but we just prevent their snap. Or I could Deadly Dispute. Yeah, let's try the Ephemerate. This leaves up both of our other options. And I'd rather keep the Glint Hawk on the field and also not give them their 2 mana back if we can afford it, or if we can try that. Counterspell, that's going to go off, but I could still Deadly Dispute this. They have to have like a Spell Pierce for it for them to be able to counter it, and I just don't hate it. I mean, obviously I want the Glint Hawk, I want the blocker, but I kind of like the excuse to use the Deadly Dispute. Obviously not great when they do have the Spell Pierce, but they weren't supposed to have it. Well, they don't get to Ninja here is the good news. And they're only down to 1 card, and Refurbished is a phenomenal draw, so they're down to 1 card. Let's take that card away. Of One Mind, beautiful. Let's attack for 2, and again, their graveyard does not matter at all, so I don't care to pick up this Bajuka Bog. We'll just pick up the tapped land, hold up our Cast Down, or if they get a Ninja and we like block and they flip a Ninja, we can kill it. If not, we Clue token. Yeah, either way, we are in a good spot, I think. Crack that Clue, another Cast Down, Goldmire Bridge. So I could just go for a Cast Down here and just like try to kill both their guys and get in, but it seems a little aggressive. I'm going to play a Vault of Whispers in case they have a Spell Pierce, and I end up using both Cast Downs, which seems not likely. All right, so they didn't block, so they're just taking 4, it looks like. Pretty good, and we'll just pass to them. They have a Fairy Seer, so they're going to get to scry 2. They're baiting in for 2 damage. Totally fine. We get an Ephemerate. I think we're going to just cast this Fairy Seer down, see if they have any counter spells or anything. We just want to get in with this Refurbished Familiar for as much as possible here. And if they have like a Spell Stutter, it's not great. They snap our Familiar. Okay. I could Ephemerate it, but either way it's not attacking. So I might as well just get the extra trigger. They're trying to minimize their damage here, which I respect, the damage they take. But we also get to draw extra cards here, which is pretty good for us. Let's attack for 2, put them to 5. I mean, they do set us back a turn's worth of damage in Goldmire Bridge, but we can also stop on their draw to Refurbished Familiar. I think it's a little unnecessary. They're a mono blue deck. They have tons of instants, so it might not even stop them that much. They attack with both of their guys. I'm going to block the Spell Stutter because I don't really want them to Ninja that back and then like counter our Ephemerate or whatever, but if they have a Ninja here, we get to kill it with the Cast Down. Yep. So let's cast it down, and I could even just Ephemerate this. I think that's probably worth it. Ephemerate this, and they discard their card, and then we get to attack for 4. But they conceded there. So we get more sweepers, and that's about it. But that's okay. Sweepers and Thraben Charms don't do anything. I mean, they destroy an enchantment, which could be a Moon Circuit hacker, but otherwise it's just a bad cast down. Everything else seems decent in the matchup, so I think this is how we're going to run it. All right, this hand looks pretty decent. We need a black source is the big thing holding us back. But we have some inspectors, which obviously don't block fairies, but at the very least block ninjas after they have sprouted from the fairies. Ancient Den. I'm going to not put the Ancient Den down first. This could potentially make a Refurbished Familiar come down later if we draw like a Vault of Whispers here. But on the off chance that they brought in Steel Sabotages and could bounce our land, I'd rather not deal with that. So, I don't know. Probably, maybe not the best, but oh, look at that. They have the Ninja. Big Ninja, too. So they get to draw a card. We get to play another Inspector, and we have 2 blockers for it. But if they have like a Snap or something, it's a little awkward. But then we do have an Ephemerate. We just drew a Deadly Dispute, and we're not playing a Glint Hawk here. So yeah, I think we're just playing Inspector, pass with Ephemerate up, go for the double block, and see what happens. They could have a Brine Barrow as well, in which case Ephemerate's not going to save either of them. Yup. But they also only kill one of them, so I think I can live with that. Fair enough. Just need to not take damage from this ninja. I pass with a spell setter up here. Now they're going to play a Miscreant. Okay. Goldmire Bridge. Well, we got to get that down. And I guess I got to play this Glint Hawk too for less value than I would like. So let's just buy back an Ancient Den and pass. We can try to trade the Glint Hawk for the Ninja. If they go for a Brine Barrow or a Snap or something, we can Ephemerate it. But if they have a Spell Setter, it's not good. Then we'll block here, and then we're taking 1. Could also trade... I could eat the Intruder with the Glint Hawk, and then chump here. That plays less into their tricks this turn, and the next turn we get a Familiar down. Actually kind of like that. This still just trades a 1-2 for a 1-2, so like we don't lose a lot here. They can Brine Barrow to try to keep their 1-2 around, I guess. That's fine. And live with that. But if we had done the other thing and then we had to Ephemerate the Glint Hawk, we would also have to pick up a Clue or a Goldmire, and we don't really like any of that. So I think that's part of why we want to. Tithing Blade is not really good enough. Tithing Blade eats up Brine Barrow. That doesn't do anything. So we need another creature on the field. Refurbished. Hope it doesn't get countered, but knowing that it probably will. And we have Clue Token and Ephemerate up. And that's about it. If this does land, we're not in a terrible spot, but what are the chances of that? Yeah, they have the Steel Sabotage. And we're going to pass. Only 1 black mana is making things awkward. They have an of 1 mind. Hate to see it. Don't you just? They don't have any tricks, though, so they pass. That's great for us. We're going to crack a Clue. Skyfisher's not bad. Another Tithing Blade's fine. So we get to Tithing Blade here. See if they have a Steel Sabotage or something. If not, we at least get to pick off a guy. They could also have a Spell Stutter, which we can't really do anything about either. Yep, that's the Spell Stutter. So I guess we get down a Core Skyfisher. We don't really get the value off of it, but we get a blocker. And if this dies, we're like, or gets snapped, we're kind of screwed. So I think we need to play the Skyfisher down as bad a value as this is. But they didn't have any way to get past a single Glint Hawk last turn, so ideally they won't have a way to get past 2 giant flyers. By giant, I mean pretty small, but still. Very Miscreant's pretty good. It's another attacker that draws him a card. No attacks. We got Olympus. I mean, let's play that, see if they want to Spell Stutter it, or Snabotage it. They don't. Basilica, I mean, I wouldn't hate more lands, and this is 2 lands. It is 2 lands. It's just not really what we need, but also we do have this Deadly Dispute. I actually think maybe we do want this. Because this turn, what are we playing? I could play as Tithing Blade, but that doesn't really do much. I think we'd probably hold up Deadly Dispute and Ephemerate and Clue. Yeah, let's take that land. It's awkward because we've bounced 2 lands to our hand, so it's turn 6 and only have 4 lands, and we can't even play this Basilica, but the Deadly Dispute will hopefully find us enough value. The cards we're looking for, Glint Hawks and Core Skyfishers, usually cost us total, 3 or 4 mana. Snare Master Sprite, well, that's not great. I can tap one of these guys down, probably the Skyfisher. I can Ephemerate it as a blocker, but if they have a Spell Stutter or something, it's kind of bad. Yeah, they're going to swing with the team. I could Deadly Dispute a Clue token and then Ephemerate, But if that doesn't go off, that's kind of bad. I think we're just going to Ephemerate and hope that they don't have any way to deal with this. No Dispel, no Counterspell, no Spell Stutter. If it works, we just get an extra blocker. Okay, Counterspell it is. So we're taking a bunch of damage. I think we have to let this Ninja hit because we need to keep our Glint Hawk around, but I can at least kill a Spell Stutter. And then I can throw out a Tithing Blade and that kills another guy. Like, of course, our Skyfisher also is tapped down for a full second turn. Stun counters are overpowered. They're fine. Okay. Refurbished is not a bad draw, although we're still pinched on black mana. Another reason it's good that we kept this Basilica, but I am still annoyed. So all we have to do with our white mana at the moment is crack a clue. So we might as well just do that now. We could also gain 3 life, but we're not doing that, I don't think. Cast down's okay. The main thing we're worried about is this Ninja. So I could cast down the Ninja, and then if they have another way to tap down this Glint Hawk, we're still taking a bunch of damage, but we're not necessarily letting them draw cards, which is not terrible. I could play Refurbished, but it's not as mana efficient. I think we're casting down Ninja. Then playing Basilica, picking up Ancient Den, passing the turn, trying to survive, hoping that this 2/2 will hold back all these 1-power creatures. But if they have another Snaremaster, if they have a Snap, if they have a Brine Barrow, any of those gets them through. If they play a Mutagenic Growth, they could do that too. A lot of decks have stepped away from that. No, okay. They also could just be willing to sacrifice a one-power creature for 4 damage or for like a Ninja hit. So I think I just have to be willing to do something. I think we got to get rid of the Snaremaster because if they pick that up and actually use it again, it's pretty bad. Also, if they have a Ninja, they can pick up a Brine Barrow Intruder, and then they can play that Brine Barrow Intruder, and they can keep their Snaremaster alive, and that's a really annoying, cool trick that they can do. They picked up a Fairy Miscreant, though. So maybe they have 2 ninjas, or maybe they're just going for the big draws, which, yeah. They draw off their Ninja hitting, they draw off a Miscreant hitting the field. So they're at 5 cards, can play a Miscreant, still at 5 cards, and we're at 6 life, so not a great spot to be in for us. And there's that Miscreant, and they pass. Vault of Whispers is okay. Let's play a Tithing Blade, see if they want to counter that. I think I'd rather it gets countered because it just kills like a Brine Barrow, whereas a Refurbished can kill a Ninja. They have the Spell Stutter and 3 fairies, so unless I had already played a land and then like Deadly Disputed our Lembas, there's into a Suffocating Fumes, there's really nothing I can do about it. So I guess that's fine. Maybe I should have already Deadly Disputed, not Lembas, because actually we might want that life. Deadly Dispute an Ancient Den though, and then we have Lembas and Familiar up, and we have an Ephemerate here. Well, it's not terrible. It's not nothing. I mean, this way if they have like another Snaremaster or a Snap, we can Ephemerate, get out from under it. It's in a null. Well, we're passing back to them, hoping they don't have any proactive cards, really. We will see. They have the Snap. We got to go for it, because block. They might have lethal. I guess we could Lembas, try to survive, but I think we just got to go for this Ephemerate. If it goes off, it's not bad. Yeah, we get to keep our blocker, to bounce back our Lembas. So we get to draw an extra card here, assuming we don't die. And it makes them use up their mana, which could be pretty relevant. This is our 3 toughness creature, too, so it's actually the one that blocks everything very efficiently, and not just trades. They do have a Snaremaster, so they can tap down that Skyfisher. Okay, but then we can untap it at our upkeep, assuming we're still not dead. Because they're going to swing with everything, probably. And I trade here, eat this, and I go down to 2. Yeah, I mean, this has to block something, so might as well trade for the biggest guy, and this can eat the Spell Stutter. It's unfortunate because I'm going to Ephemerate the Skyfisher at the upkeep, and I'd prefer to be able to pick up the Familiar, but that's just simply not going to be able to happen. I could also not Ephemerate, but then I don't have this untapped, and that seems worse. So let's do that and just bounce a Plains. Suffocating Fumes. Hey, that's pretty good. Kills that. Doesn't kill these 2. But it keeps us alive, and I think we have to do it now while they're tapped out. So let's Lembas first. Deadly's pretty good. And we'll do it. We got to leave both our blockers back, though, because if they have even just one unblocked attacker and then can flip it into a Ninja, that's lethal. They still could have a Snap into that, but hey, we're holding on while we can. They got a Fairy Seer. Doesn't do too much for them at the moment. Scry 2 to the bottom. They're going to pass, so we're not dead. Novice Inspector. I guess I'd prefer that gets countered than a Deadly Dispute, so let's see if they want to Spell Stutter it. They don't. Let's then crack this treasure. We probably want to leave up Lembas too. Ancient Den, play an Spectre, and yeah, actually we're not in a bad spot anymore. We have 2 clues to crack, so we have some gas, we have a cast down, we have a Lembas, so we're not quite dead to anything, to one thing, that is. Let's turn it around real quick with that Suffocating Fumes. Crack a clue. Omen of the Dead's pretty good too. Probably got some, oh, we don't have any core Skyfishers in there, but that's okay. Raven and Spectre. Let's crack another clue, I guess. See what we're working with. Goldmire. Land Inspector. See, we have a Refurbished Familiar with the Omen of the Dead. They could definitely have a Spell Stutter for it, but they haven't previously. Let's just go for it. If they have it, they have it. They could have an Annul, too. Get rid of that Marriage right away. They do have the Annul. That's fine. Play a Vault, and I'm going to attack with the Glint Hawk, actually. Start applying a little bit of pressure. If they have a snap, they can get rid of the Skyfisher or some other way to get rid of it. And then a Ninja flip the Fairy Seer, but we have both a cast down and a Lembas to make it so that that's not lethal. So if I didn't have those things, I would not have attacked with the Glint Hawk, but since I do, I think I'm okay. We are getting flooded now, even though we had all those card draws. So not great, but we are going to just keep hitting in for 2. A Goldmire and pass. Best draws here are Glint Hawks or core Skyfishers to chain with the Lembas to keep finding more of them. That's ideal. Speaking of, that's a Glint Hawk. Problem is if they find any counter spells for these guys, but what are you going to do about that? Let's play one. That worked, so let's pick up this Lembas. Play it. That worked right away. Kabir Crossroads. I don't hate that. The Basilica, it gains us a little bit of life, gets us out from under them. All right. Obviously, I don't usually want to land, but when we're so low, I kind of don't hate getting a little bit to go up, and I don't really want to sacrifice the Lembas if I don't have to, because we want to keep using it with the Glint Hawks and Skyfishes that we find. They do, of one mind, play an island, and Fairy Miscreant. Luckily, we got rid of the other 2, so that doesn't draw a card. They do now have 2 1/1s, so our Glint Hawk attack is a little worse, but if they trade them, I'm kind of okay with that. Another Glint Hawk. Let's play it, see if they got anything pre-combat to counter. They don't. I mean, we're getting exactly what we want. Play the Lembas. Cast down. I think that's fine. Let's take that. And now we'll attack with 2 Glint Hawks, because we have 2 more flyers behind them. Hit for 14. Not 14. Hit for 4, and they were at 14. We're going to play the Basilica, bounce the Kabir Crossroads, which obviously I should have tapped for my Glint Hawk. Minor mistake, not a big deal. Unless I get like double Spell Pierced and it matters. Find another island. Looks like they're flooded too. Not able to attack. Another Glint Hawk. Well, ain't that amazing. Let's play. See, this is when I want to find our 4 Glint Hawks in a row. Not when we're at 2 cards on turn, 2 lands on turn 2, like with that other game. Pick up that Lembas and play it again. Skyfisher's beautiful. Let's play a Skyfisher. Pick up that Lembas. Play the Lembas. And I mean, they're gonna have to do something good here. They have the Annul. I'm surprised they didn't use it on this million turns ago. If they just drew it, that's fair, but they did let us get it off once. So I guess they're more worried about like a refurbished or something. But only 2 cards in hand, and we have 2 cast downs. So I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm gonna swing with all 8 of these guys. Eight power of these. That is. They're gonna take it, and I'm gonna pass. So they gotta have something pretty good here to be able to survive. And our opponent concedes. They were very lovely and asked for a list, and also asked how our Glee matchup is. I said, probably terrible. They asked for a list for the deck, and I said, of course, it's in the video description, to which they said, I don't know what that means, and I sent them a link. So, all right, on the play here, we have too many lands, and yet, we'll give it a try. Skyfisher is probably the best card in the deck. I think it's not too unreasonable to say. It goes with everything. Ideally, not quite the cards we have. Cast down's pretty good, and as you've seen, we want a lot of lands. So I wouldn't always keep a 5 land, 2 spell hand, but this one seemed okay. In any case, we're against Snow-Covered Island, which usually means monocolor and they just don't care, or for an effect, is it Scred, probably. They brainstorm, and then they have that Volatile Fjord. Good news here is we have the Bajuka Bog in our opener, so we get to take away their stuff at some point. Refurbished Familiar's a phenomenal draw, probably the best draw we could have played. could have drawn, because we get to play it right now, and they don't have anything to do. They have no scred or anything, so we get to pick it back up right away, and then we get to play it again. Maybe it gets countered then, but we just got a good value off of it. Plus, we get our Skyfisher down. Things are going well. They got rid of a Dispel, which is fine. We actually do have a couple of Dispel targets here, so I don't mind seeing that go. And Bojuka Bog, when do we want to use it? Probably when they have 4 spells, if we can get there in their grave. Like if they scred this right now, nice. I could have Deadly Disputed, but we didn't actually play a land first because I'm not sure if I wanted to use the Bojuka Bog, which means that I didn't necessarily know if they would have a Spell Pierce, for example. So maybe I should have thought about that a little bit more, but I think it's fine. I kind of want to go Refurbished Familiar, Glint Hawk, Refurbished Familiar. They might have a counterspell here, and if they do, it's not my favorite, but at the very least we get to Bojuka Bog away 4 spells. That's exactly what's going to happen, it looks like. In which case, maybe we should have Deadly Disputed the Skyfisher. They countered that, and then we would have gotten to resolve the Familiar. And now we can't play the Glint Hawk for any value. So, I think that might have been a bit of a misplay. Do we just play the Glint Hawk now? I don't think so. This is a control versus control matchup. We are probably the aggro. It's possible I want to throw the Glint Hawk down. But my point saying we're both control decks is that it's really about the value. And so I don't really want to throw out the Glint Hawk now with no value. So, maybe we should have gone for that Deadly Dispute. What are you going to do about it now? They have an Augur Bolas. Let's see if it serves them better than it serves us. They have a Cast into the Fire main deck. Well, luckily we have enough lands that it's not devastating for them to use that on one of our lands right now. Still a little annoying, though, if they have that ability. Looks like they're just going to go for it. Hey, that is a great Deadly Dispute target. Since they're targeting this, we will just do that right now. Get an Ephemerate. Let's get it refurbished. No refurbished. Well, we get Basilica for our Bojuka Bog. I like that. Play Glint Hawk, but then that sets us back onto their land, or at least sacks our treasure, and just doesn't do anything. I don't think we need to cast this down. So I think we're just playing this Basilica, picking up Bojuka Bog, and passing. So, not great, but, fine, I suppose. I think the bad thing is if they play Monarch here. That's an Archaeomancer. I mean, annoying. They get to take away another one of our lands, but they can't do it this turn. They have to wait until next turn, so that's something, I suppose. Archaeomancer and Perilous Landscape actually makes me think we could be Jeskai. So it's possible that they're running Ephemerate, in which case we might want to cast down this Archaeomancer. Just do it now while they don't have mana. But then if they play like a Terror, we're dead. Or a Murmuring Mystic. That's the scary one. I think we're going to wait on it. Lembas, what a good draw. Let's play that. Finally found an artifact to get some value on. Glint Hawk, beautiful. Let's play the Glint Hawk and pick up the Lembas. And I think we're just going to play the Lembas again. I know they could then cast it into the fire. That's the tough part. If we hold it, maybe we can play it and then Glint Hawk. If they haven't held up mana again, then we can get more value out of it. If they just cast into the fire, we don't. Oh, but if they cast into the fire, if they don't have anything else, we can Ephemerate the Glint Hawk to pick up the Lembas. That's a little awkward, though, if they have also a Scred. I think we're just going to do it, though, but maybe liberally take another artifact off of this, like another Lembas, or I don't think we need another cast down. Ephemerate's fine. I don't know. Might not have been as good, but I feel like it's a little more mana efficient. I don't think I'm going to use the cast down this turn, unless if they do. Well, they are Jeskai, unless they use like an Ephemerate this turn, but they don't really have anything in their grave to Ephemerate. I guess they could cast into the fire the Lembas, Ephemerate, and then cast into the fire a land? Or go for 2 lands, maybe? That's a possibility. 5 mana? Or is this just a... They could Lorien here, I guess. Yup, that's a Lorien. Pretty good. Kind of what I was hoping for was that they would continue to have 3 or 4 cards, which is my comfort zone when they have 3 or 4 cards. Okay, well, I guess I'll attack them for 2. Play a Glint Hawk, pick up the Lembas, and see what we got from there. Play this guy, play the Lembas. Do have 2 Ephemerates up now, which is kind of cool. Plus Deadly Dispute if we want it. More creatures is good. More disruption is good. I wouldn't hate a Tithing Blade if we could start tithing these away. Don't want another Ancient Den, though, that's for sure. Or a Plains. No, thank you. I guess we'll play that Plains just in case they somehow start, Cast into the Fire looping us. At least we have 2 lands that are not susceptible to that, instead of just the 1. Sack their landscape. The good news is if they go for like Cast into the Fire here, we can Ephemerate a Glint Hawk, and then, or just Deadly Dispute, and then we have another Ephemerate. So we got a lot of stuff going for us. That's an Aggro Bolas, though. Let's see what that can pull. Probably nothing. Oh, our opponents are always luckier than we are. That's a whole brainstorm they got. Not even a half brainstorm. Play an island. No, wait, you're gonna another Lorien? Oh, Mole Drifter. Well, that's almost as bad. Okay, I guess that's fine. This is outrageous. It's unfair. All right, let's Deadly Dispute this treasure. Thraben Charm. And that can blow up a graveyard too. So I just want to Thraben Charm like a Mole Drifter while they're tapped out or cast down. Clearly it's Jeskai Ephemerate, so I should stop thinking about terrors as the threat and start thinking about the Archaeomancer, Mole Drifters, and Kenku and Murmuring Mystic as the threat, which means I probably still want to cast down for the Murmuring Mystic. So let's Thraben Charm this Mole Drifter. Oop, come on. Let's deal 4 damage. This makes it so our Glint Hawks can attack, and it makes it so they can't Ephemerate it. Omen of the Dead's not bad. We have a Skyfisher in the bin. Let's start with Skyfisher Lembas. That's fine. They only have 1 spell in the grave, so I don't think we're Bojuka Bogging this turn. So let's just play the Lembas. Probably going to play this Vault of Whispers. Goldmire Bridge. Get out of here. Goldmire Bridge, I do not want. Let's draw something else. Lembas is fine. So let's attack for 4. And I don't think we're casting down the Archaeomancer. Currently, it's not that big of a threat, although it could be, and it will be. But I think we're saving that for a, what's the word? I think we're saving that for a Murmuring Mystic. They're going to Brainstorm. That's gone. We'll probably get this Lembas down next turn so that I can have 2 Lembases. So if I Ephemerate a Glint Hawk or a Skyfisher, I can pick up 1 Lembas, and then on my upkeep, pick up the other Lembas. Not lose value there. They have another landscape, and they're cracking it. Shuffling away that Brainstorm residue. Brainstorm residue. They have another Lorien revealed. Why could we not just have some counter spells in white and black? This is outrageous. Okay, well, let's play Omen of the Dead, I guess. See if they have a counter spell for that, for 1 mana. But if not, we get a Core Skyfisher. And then I think, because again, they only have 1 mana, we're going to go for an Ephemerate on this Glint Hawk. Although, if they have a Scred, it's pretty... We're going to have to use our second Ephemerate. Actually, I think that's fine. I think we're going to let it go. Make him discard a card here. It's a Destroy Evil. Okay. Let's play a Lembas. Tithing Blade. Perfect. I wouldn't mind starting to tithe them. Let's attack for 6. Maybe I should have played Tithing Blade first, so if they try to kill one of these, I could Ephemerate it and pick up the Tithing and play it again. But looks like they're just going to take 6. I like that too. Let's Tithing. And I think we're just leaving up 2 Ephemerates and 2 cast downs. They sacked the Archaeomancer. That's interesting. I guess they want the Augurs more. Yeah. We are going to Bojuka Bog them now. It's possible they have like, what is it, Late to Dinner sometimes this deck runs. And that's why they wanted to sack that. And that's why I then Bojuka Bogged them. So that they can't do that. It's possible I should have played a Core Skyfisher so that we could have threatened lethal next turn, but I think the chances of them having a flyer or a breath weapon or a something like that is pretty high. They have a Murmuring Mystic. Time to panic. Maybe I should have Ephemerated in response, but that doesn't seem good. I only have 1 cast down up right now, but they're going to Thraben Charm the Skyfisher. Okay, well, I'm going to try to Ephemerate it. And then if they try to counter that or do something, then I can just cast down the Murmuring Mystic. That's pretty good. Okay, of course Skyfisher goes off. Tithing Blade's looking bad in the face of the Murmuring Mystic. I will give them that. So let me just pick up this Lembas, I think. So if they have a counter spell for the Mystic, then I can just upkeep my turn, also cast it down. We can get rid of it. They have a Glacial Floodplain. So we will see about tapping them out here. Tagging with 2 Augurs. I'm going to take it. Well, if I take it, they can't Breath Weapon, actually, so it doesn't really matter. Let me just cast this down now, and if they have like the counter spell for it, then I'll just block, and I know there's no shenanigans. They let it die, or maybe couldn't save it, so does blocking here matter? Because like they can Scred it no matter what. It's probably just a free attack. They can't get a mana because they played the Glacial Floodplain, so I don't think it's a breath weapon. So I am going to say there's no reason not to block. And I'm going to say that confidently, or I'm wrong, or I'm very, very wrong. Pyroclasm. Don't think that's in the format yet. That would make quite the impact, though, wouldn't it? Sorcery speed, but 2 mana. That's pretty good. All right, we survived. I have an Ephemerate. By ephemerating this Glint Hawk, Skyfisher? Yeah, Glint Hawk. By ephemerating this, we lose, we get summoning sickness, so it's possible I shouldn't, because I should just go all out attacking them, but I think it's okay. We do know they have a cast into the fire in their hand, so I think they were going to try to cast something into the fire in response, which they could. Yeah, they're going for the Tithing Blade, but so I couldn't pick up the Tithing Blade. I could ephemerate the my other Glint Hawk here, more creatures that can't attack, but then I could save the Tithing Blade, and then I can Tithing 2 of their creatures. I kind of like that, so let's just do that. Ephemerate, bring up the Tithing Blade at Fizzles. Ephemerate, bring up the Lembas, another Tithing Blade. So this way I can eat a bunch of their creatures. Tithe. Let's get 1 Lembas down. Actually, I might as well just or Skyfisher. Skyfisher. These are hard to kill en masse. Is that a way to say that? Because of their 3 toughness. So I think getting 2 of them down is good in case they do find a breath weapon. So we still have more attackers. We killed both their augurs, which obviously can't block anything anyway. But hey. Reduce their creature count. Seems pretty good. We'll pass to them. See what they got going on. We just have an Omen of the Dead now. They have a Scred. Can't do anything about that. We can Omen of the Dead to bring back that Skyfisher, though. Union of the Third Path. You got it. They gain 4 life. But he uses a lot of their mana, so I'm kind of okay with it this turn. 4 life is not a ton, and 3 mana is a lot. They're going to pass. We're not going to Omen here, because I don't want to give spell... what's it called? You know the one, Spell Pierce. I don't want to give that any extra power here. We're going to go for a flicker on the Skyfisher. If they kill it, you know, they kill the better one, but if they don't, I might actually want to bounce this Bojuka Bog rather than the Tithing Blade. They have a breath weapon. Hey, that's a reason to not go for the Glint Hawk. So that's pretty cool. We have this Ephemerate. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards engraved, but again, I don't think Terror is what I need to worry about. I think it's just the, what's it called? Archaeomancers. But I don't think a Tithing Blade does anything. They don't have any creatures. So yeah, let's just pick up this Bojuka. Let's cast a Lembas. Yeah, let's start with a Lembas. See what they want to do about that. Nothing is the answer. Thraben Inspector. I mean, they're so low. I think any creatures are pretty decent. But now let's go for the Omen of the Dead. See if they have a counter for that. If not, pick up the Skyfisher. And then play that. You want to do a lot of this stuff before you play your Bojuka Bog in case they do have a counterspell. And since it seems like they don't, I could run out this Omen now. Then I'm not holding up Deadly Dispute or Cast Down, but I don't really need the Cast Down. I don't think I need the Deadly. We're going to go for the Omen. Pick up a... Don't even have the Spell Pierce. That's nice. Pick up a Glint Hawk. Just the big value ones. Play a Thraben Inspector. And since it doesn't look like they're going to oblige and play anything here, old Bojuka Bog eggs out of their graveyard. Now their Archaeomancers that they could draw are bad. They probably only have 1 or 2 more in the deck, but hey, it is one of the better cards in the deck. And now it is one of the worst cards in the deck. They have a Murmuring Mystic. We have a Cast Down for that. And they have two cards left. So let's start with an attack. Before they get any birds, let's attack for 4. And then we'll play a Glint Hawk. See if they have a counterspell or anything. And they do. Okay. That's fine. Obviously, we want that to resolve, but the most important thing here is to kill the Murmuring Mystic, because Murmuring Mystic is scary. I'm just going to like bait some spells to see if they counter anything else. If I can get the Cast Down to go off, I'm going to get rid of that. Ephemerate's pretty good. Let's go for a Cast Down now. See if they have anything. They do not. And I think we'll pass. Now we're in a really good spot. If they have a removal spell, we can Ephemerate. If not, we can just Deadly Dispute or Clue Token. They have the Archaeomancer and a counterspell in the grave. So let's Deadly Dispute this Lembas before they have a counterspell. Honestly, Archaeomancer is pretty good with even just 1 counterspell in the graveyard, but hey, we did what we could. And let's Ephemerate this Skyfisher, I guess. Pick up a Tithing Blade. And then that's fine. They can get their counterspell back. What good's it going to do them anyway? Flicker this Skyfisher. Pick up a Tithing Blade. Play a Tithing Blade. See what if they counter that. And they do. Run out the other one. Oh, the last card was an Ephemerate. Well, that's annoying. Let's crack a clue, I guess. See if we have a cast down. Oh, we did draw the cast down. Well, lucky us. Just an Ephemerate, a counterspell, and an Archaeomancer could definitely win them the game. Potentially, I think we would still be able to pull ahead here, but it would still be pretty potent. Now they are dead for sure, but they're trying to run down our clock just a little bit more because I believe this is game one. So I don't blame them, but I'm just going to pass and try to clean up the game on our turn. Unless they draw like a Lorien or something here. Okay, they can see. Wanted to see if they drew anything. All right, so that's game one. We get two more Thraben Charms because their graveyard is very relevant. Extract doesn't do much. Suffocating. I don't hate having a Suffocating in the main deck in case they overrun us with birds, but we don't really need two of them. Arms of Hadar doesn't do much either. It does kill Muldrifters and Archaeomancers, but it doesn't hit Augurs, Murmuring Mystic, or Kenku creature. So I don't really think any of those are that important. Thraben Charms are good. Nothing else is bad. I do like having the one Suffocating, and it cycles, if nothing else. So I think Inspectors are not as good because they have a lot of breath weapons and also Augurs that like block these. I don't think there's anything else worth bringing in. They look like Jeskai that's not running a Wildfire package. So even if they were, I don't know if Dust to Dust would be worth it with only like 8 targets, but certainly not when they're not running those. I think we're just running it like this and try to play a little brisker in case we lose the second game. Hopefully we can actually have a third game that we have time for. 1 land is not going to cut it with what we have here. 2, 3 lands. Yeah, that's good. I think we're going to get rid of the Ephemerate. Currently, it doesn't look amazing. Goldmire Bridge and pass. Hope they don't cast us into the fire, but we don't really have a choice. Our lands that we can play on turn 1 are both artifact lands. So, you know, they did not oblige. They did cast us into the fire, and you know, they're going to go to hell for that. That's what I can say about that for certain. Rainstorm. Don't have anything to play here. If you're running a little bit low on time, I mean, we're not crazy pressed, but you know, this could be a long match and we don't want to time out. Just, you know, Goldmire Bridge. I think we're going to just play this Basilica while we can. They can't cast this into the fire. Just pass through the turns that you don't have anything to do. There's no reason that you should not F6 when you have nothing to do. Unless you're really bluffing. I don't think it's terrible to, in general, to hold it up a little bit, but certainly when you don't have the time. They did get a cast of the fire back, so that's pretty annoying. But we're going to Tithing Blade, make them sack their guy, Ancient Den, Glint Hawk, pick up the Tithing Blade again. So if they want to get rid of the Ancient Den, that's fine. But we have a Goldmire Bridge, and we have a Tithing Blade. So if they want to wait for the Tithing Blade, that's better. And obviously we want to kill this when they don't have Ephemerate up. So there we go. They do cast into the fire. Still annoying. I don't like it, but I accept it. Augur of Bolas. What are they getting? We're probably just going to Tithing Blade this, Goldmire, and hope they don't have another cast into the fire. They got an Ephemerate. Hope they don't have a Plains here. They have a Perilous Landscape. That's fine. So let's just Tithing them. Hope that this Goldmire Bridge sticks around, because if we don't have any more lands and we're stuck on 2, it's going to be pretty tough. Stuck on 3 is okay. So we can often do a 2-drop and a 1-drop. But we do have so many 2-drops that stuck on 2 is really bad, because it's like no matter what, we can play one spell a turn. We don't want that. All right, they play a land. They have an Ephemerate, so 3 unknown cards. That's an Archaeomancer. That's crazy. They can cast it the fire, take out our land, or our Tithing Blade. And they have an Ephemerate up, unless they want to use the cast of the fire, which they do. Well, I think I have to kill the Archaeomancer, or I could exile their graveyard, but that doesn't seem as good. They've already lost 1, so as unfortunate as it is, I think we need to kill this. It's unfortunate because I'd prefer to blow up their graveyard. I'd prefer to kill it with a cast down, but we just don't have that. And I'd prefer to Deadly Dispute to draw that turn, but we didn't have any of those options, really. They do get to Muldrifter Ephemerate, so that's going to be pretty dang good. Draw a million. So that might be what buries us. And because we are missing lands, we're not going to be able to Skyfisher Tithing Blade in the same turn to take out this Muldrifter. They have a Scred for our Glint Hawk, Vault of Whispers. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to play the Skyfisher, but not great position to be in. If they have the counter spell, we're pretty toast, I think. They drop back up to 6 here. All they need is like another counter spell, and we're like all we have in hand is Deadly Disputes. Kind of already where we're at, but even more so. They brainstorm. Yeah, and this just comes down to their Cast into the Fire. Like them taking out 2, or is it 3 at this point of our lands? Yeah, 3 of our lands wrecked us. I think Cast into the Fire, and of course they have another one Cast in the Fire in the main deck I think is kind of cool because there are matches where it's going to really come up and be good, and obviously matches where it's going to be not good, and obviously they have more in the sideboard, but yeah, this is a match where it happens to be very, very good. In a world where they've drawn all lands, maybe I can Skyfisher, take their Monarch here, Tithing Blade, get them gone. But in a world where that doesn't happen, we're dead. That's a scred that's going to kill Skyfisher. We're just going to go to the next one, have as much time for it as possible, and there's no way we're winning this one. Try not to, it's going to help being on the play, but we're going to try not to get absolutely wrecked by Cast into the Fire this time. We even kept quite a few lands, I think, in our opener. That's no artifact lands, which means Refurbished Familiar sucks, but it also means we are unlikely to get roasted by Cast into the Fire. So I think this one's good. We also do get to go turn 1 Thraben, turn 3, pick it back up, play it again with the Skyfisher, and then we still get our Familiar for 2 mana without having to risk our lands. So that's not bad. Put it on a Mold of 5 as well, really trying to help us get that dub, which I appreciate. Thanks, homie, or Huma. Almost human, but not quite. All right, player, Inspector, and pass to them. They got a tap land, I'm assuming. We have the Suffocating Fumes. Not great. Obviously, I kept it in case of a situation, Murmuring Mystic getting out of control. That, if that does happen, is likely to be happening on turn 6, 7, 8, 9. So it just doesn't do much for us now. But we can always cycle it if we need to. Would have loved another Inspector there, because currently we don't have anything to do with this 1 mana. So a bit of a waste, but we're obviously going to play our land regardless. And the next turn, like I said, probably Skyfisher, Inspector again. They crack for a Mountain, going for that Scred early. Cycle a Lorien to find a Glacial Floodplain, so they got all their colors. Play that. Ooh, Vault of Whispers. That's still only 2 artifacts, so can't play it Refurbished this turn either way. Because I kind of wanted to play it and then buy back with Skyfisher, but that's not happening. So let's just Skyfisher, buy back Inspector, play Inspector, and the next turn we can still go with the Familiar for just 1 mana. And then we're also holding up Deadly Dispute, we're holding up Suffocating Fumes, we're holding up Thraben Charm. So that's all pretty good. They have an island, go for an Augur, blocker on the ground, not bad. They get some a Brainstorm in their time of need. Pretty good for them. Goldmire Bridge isn't bad. Let's attack with our Skyfisher. They try to kill it with a Scred, we'll Deadly Dispute it. Not, we'll get in for 2. I could play a Goldmire Bridge and then play the Refurbished Familiar, but then I have to use the white mana and I have to crack a Clue or something, which means I'm totally tapped out, and I'd rather not be. So even though it's mana inefficient, I'd rather keep up my many tricks. So let's just go this way. Make them discard a card with the Familiar. They discard a Palace Sentinels. That's fair. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to retain the Monarch very easily at the moment. And then we have Deadly Dispute for if they remove something. Thraben Charm for if they go for like an Archaeomancer on even just a Lorien. Cycle a Suffocating or maybe just a crack a Clue. I guess cracking a Clue is better than cycling the Suffocating. They cycle the Lorien for a Fjord. Cast into the Fire on our Vault of Whispers. Honestly, we're already so far ahead, I'm not too worried about that, but obviously we have the Deadly Dispute, might as well use it on something that's already going away. Jukabog's pretty good too. That means our Thraben Charm can be a removal spell. We're going to play the Fjord. They have a Brainstorm and 2 unknowns. Do I need this treasure badly enough, or do I just want to be mana efficient? Crack a Clue. I think we're going to be mana efficient. Crack that Clue. Ephemerate's pretty good. I can start taking out their whole hand. Oh, and a Tithing Blade. Okay, so I think we're Tithing Blade. Kill this. Attack for 5, and then they're at 11. I could Ephemerate now. Feels a little greedy. I could Ephemerate after their after or before their Brainstorm. But I definitely think I want to Bajukabog them. That feels nice. And then yeah, we'll just pass. If they go for a Brainstorm here, I can make them lose one of their cards. Nah, I think it's fine. If they with Brainstorm, if they find like a Scred or something, I'd obviously prefer to have the Ephemerate. I'm just not that worried about what they could have. Like what they could have, I think is better they need to be proactive because we are the ones crushing them at the moment, which means that it's better for us to be reactive with our Ephemerate. So let's try to do that. They have a Mole Drifter. We did tap down to 1 mana, so that means that if they have the Ephemerate here, which I think they have to because I don't know otherwise why they'd only pay 3 mana for this, we actually can't Thraben Charm it. So that's pretty good for them. Okay, that's good. On our turn, we still get to Thraben Charm this, kill it, and they won't get to Ephemerate again. But they are drawing out of their mulligan here. Just a little late, but like maybe not too late. Ooh, Tithing Blade's even better. So let's Tithing Blade. That's nice. Play a Vault, so we have our mana up if we need it. Oh, I guess this way we don't have both of these, so maybe I should have just played the Goldmire Bridge. That's okay. If need be, I can cycle, or I can cast Ephemerate and I can Clue Token. Hey, there's the Scred. So I think we're gonna Ephemerate the Skyfisher, keep it alive. I really want to hit for 3 here though, so I think I'm just gonna pick up a Tithing Blade, which is also pretty good anyway, because anything they play to block, we can just kill. So it's not bad. Their Ephemerate goes to, well, stays in exile. No one wants it around here. They gotta get something pretty good. We did tap out a white, so like an Archaeomancer could buy back a Scred or Brainstorm. We can't do anything about that. That's exactly what they're doing. Scred is probably the right choice there, I think. Yep, so that's a little annoying, but not the end of the world. They're just gonna go for it now. I thought they would wait until we Ephemerate in our upkeep, but hey, what do I know? We get to crack a Clue, another bridge, upkeep. We are gonna hit the Familiar, even though we want to hit them for 2 damage. I think taking the cards out of their hands pretty good here. So we get a land, that's fine. We get to Tithing Blade them, kill the Archaeomancer. It didn't have an Ephemerate, which is nice. We get to hit for 1, and play Goldmire, hold up these spells, and next turn we can start flipping Tithing Blades, which should hopefully finish them off, as long as they don't find Cast into the Fires, although they've used one of those already. Yes, indeed. Thraben Charm is also good if they have another Archaeomancer. I can blow up their graveyard. Suffocating Fumes, if they do manage to get that Murmuring Mystic, will be bad, but you know, at least I can kill their birds at some point. It'd be decent. There's the Archaeomancer. I'm gonna get back that Scred again, I'm guessing. I think we take their graveyard away. Oop. And if they go for a counterspell, you know, can't do anything about that. I guess if they have an Ephemerate, it's pretty tough, pretty bad spot to be in if they have that. They have the Thraben of their own. Okay, so they still get rid of the Familiar, but at least I get their graveyard. They didn't even need to do it then. They could have had a Thraben Charm in their grave. Decided not to. We get to attack with the Inspector. If they block, we'll Suffocating Fumes to kill that. They probably have to block because it looks like it's just a free attack here. But it was not a free attack. Let's crack that Clue, see if we get anything. Oh, not bad. We will cast this. It's a little silly to kill 1 guy, but also this is the most scary creature that they could probably have, except for Murmuring. And it limits their options a little bit. So now an Ephemerate counterspell in their hand doesn't necessarily like give them a great opportunity to win the game here. Palace Sentinel is not bad. If we don't have a removal spell for that, they can maybe claw back into this. I think we should just flip Tithing Blades, though, to try to make it more inevitable. We're getting all lands. I could just attack with both of our guys to take the Monarch for a turn. That also forces them to start attacking. If they have, like, a Scred, it's pretty bad. They just eat both of our guys for free, essentially. But we only have 2 creatures in our grave right now anyway. I don't think it's worth it. Is it not? I think we're going to go for it. It's tough. This could definitely be a pretty impactful turn. If they have the Scred, it's pretty bad. If they don't, and they have to then attack us to get the Monarch back, you know, and we go back and forth, and we both start drawing an extra card each turn, it's kind of nice. They didn't have it, which is good. We're going to flip a Tithing off this Inspector, and I guess I'm going to hold this Bojuka Bog. There's always a part of me that's worried that they could have the late to dinner the Archaeomancer, get it back and stuff, but I don't think that it's worth throwing the Bojuka Bog out just for that. We have the Monarch. They have the Cast into the Fire on the Sepulcher, so that's pretty annoying. We get an Ephemerate. That's not nothing. So if they go for a Scred or something, we have a way to keep our Inspector alive. They play an island, so down to 1 card, but of course it's a Lorien, isn't it? Of course it is. Of course it is. They get to attack here. Take the Monarch back. Last card in their hand, it's always a Lorien, is it not? They get the Monarch and pass. In the end step, they're going to Scred our Thraben Inspector. Perfect, because unless they have a spell Pierce here, in which case not perfect. But this way we don't have Summoning Sickness and we can attack and take the Monarch back. We will have to not flashback the Ephemerate, but by doing that, we get a clue, and by not flashing it back, we get another draw. So we're just gonna not cast that. Cast down is perfect. My goodness. Let's crack a clue. Glint Hawk's pretty good too. Actually, that's better. So we're gonna attack, try to take that Monarch. I don't know if there's anything they could have. They could have an Ephemerate, but we have the cast down for us, so that's good. Goes through. We're gonna play a Glint Hawk. Yes. Pick up the Tithing Blade. Nice. And we even get to keep the Bojuka Bog here. Or not the Bojuka Bog, what am I saying? We get to keep the cast down here in case they have a Murmuring Mystic or something. We get to Bojuka Bog them away, and now we have the Monarch. So now we're in a great spot. It was a scary one for sure. And another Thraben Charm, so another removal spell, another graveyard hate piece if needed. They do have the Mystic, so we don't want to cast this here. We want to cast it on their turn so that they're not going to have birds that are going to be able to attack. Then again, if we draw a Tithing Blade, maybe we do want to play it now. No. I think we just flip this Tithing Blade. We're trying to win. We're not trying to kill it Murmuring Mystic. And this is a 5-turn clock, which means I probably should have attacked with this Glint Hawk beforehand. Because now if they have the Cast of the Fire, they have the Scred. Okay. Let's cast down the Murmuring Mystic. I'm not doing this great, I will admit. Try to kill this. Hope they don't have the counterspell. Of course they do. So I can Thraben Charm a Bird Illusion, or I can just Tithing Blade it. Well, we're going to Tithing Blade. They can take back the Monarch here. Ideally, we're going to be able to just kill them with Tithing Blades, is the goal. But what are you going to do? They have another Lorien, of course. It is your right, when you've lost all the cards in your hand as a Jeskai or Izzet player, to draw a Lorien. They get the Monarch back. Pretty good. But they need to find Cast of the Fires, or Tithing Blades are going to pick them off. So yeah. All right, we got a ping off of one. That's progress. We are flooding though, so that's not progress. Flip the other, and I mean, we're just sitting and praying. We have a Thraben Charm that does very little, but if they go for an Archaeomancer, you know, I can do something. Of course, they've already used 2 of them, and they're in exile, so likelihood of that is low. There's a Muldrifter, draws them 2. They are digging, crack their landscape, attack for 2 damage, Monarch draw. We're gonna ping them for 2. We have a Refurbished Familiar. Let's play that. I don't even know if we should play it because they could just counterspell it, but you know, might as well. And then they discard an Augur, and I'm going to pass to them, and we're going to see if we can kill them on our upkeep. That's the goal anyway. They have Dust to Dust. Well, isn't that absolutely phenomenal for them? I'm sorry, but you're playing Dust to Dust in a deck that has like 3 white sources. That's insane to me. Isn't that kind of insane? Okay, well, they brainstorm. I don't know if there's any way we can win now. I guess we could get that Suffocating Fumes, but did we cycle it earlier? No, that was a different game. No, we did. It was right there. Or we used it. That was it. We used it against the Archaeomancer. Okay. Well, they draw off the Monarch. I guess they mill out before us. So that's something. They have Vault of Whispers. We don't even have any way to kill this Mystic with this Thraben Charm, so we're just going to pass. Dust to frickin' Dust, huh? They have an Augur. Breath Weapon. I mean, that kills our guys, which is good, but it also kills their guys, which is good. They're going to swing for 3, since their guys are now exceedingly expendable. Another Augur. See what that pulls up. It's another Dust to Dust. Fantastic. Why would you not have multiple Dust to Dusts? It simply makes perfect sense. Core Skyfisher. Well, let's play a Skyfisher. If this brings out a Breath Weapon, then that's fine. It does not. It brings out a counterspell. I just needed 3 creatures of this Breath Weapon to happen, and we can Thraben Charm this, but obviously if they have a counterspell, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah. We're probably going to Dust to Dust a couple of our lands. They have a Brainstorm first. That's fine. They're going to attack for 4. They're going to Dust to Dust a land and our Familiar. Can't do anything about that. Draw a card. And we're going to draw land, so I guess we're going to die is the answer. Unfortunately, they have 6, 7, 8, 9 damage, 10, 11. We're going to take 9 here. They don't want to cast a Breath Weapon. That's kind of weird. Oh, look, we drew a Thraben Inspector. Let's see if that'll draw us anything good. Crack a clue. Oh, look, it's a Deadly Dispute. Let's Deadly Dispute this Vault of Whispers. Let's play a Refurbished Familiar. Play a Core Skyfisher. Pick up this Refurbished Familiar. Play it again. Make him discard another card. And then pass the turn. And certainly die. They're going to Archaeomancer. We're going to exile their graveyard, which is fine. Apparently they are playing 3 of them. And I'm not seeing any Kenkus. They're going to attack with the team, and we're going to die. That's quite unfortunate. All right, this hand is okay, so we're gonna keep it. See if we can pull out the 3-2. That Jeskai match. I mean, Jeskai I know isn't super popular anymore. But is Dust to Dust really played in the sideboards there? I'm just shocked. They had like 3 white sources in their entire deck. I know they have Lorien to find them. And I know they have a lot of cantrips. Don't get me wrong. Double white when white is your splash seems kind of crazy to me. Our opponent mulls to 5, and it looks like they're on mono red, so that's good for us. We're gonna play a Refurbished Familiar, make him mull to 4. And then we have a Tithing Blade, Core Skyfisher, and some Deadly Disputes. So that's pretty good. Oh, actually, it looks like they're on Spellslinger Burn. So even better that they're on so few cards, I think, because that's like 9 damage worth of spells that they don't have. They suspend a Rift Bolt, play a Mountain, and pass to us. Okay. Play a Plains, attack with my Familiar, and I'll try to take another card from them if they allow me. Play Skyfisher, pick up this Familiar. Oh, never mind. I only have 2 artifacts. So looks like they might have a Bolt here, but either way, I can't actually play this Familiar this turn. So that was a bit of a misplay. I mean, I could still only play 1/2 drop anyway then. And yeah, if they go for the Bolt, it doesn't really matter, does it? I guess I'll pick up this Plains in that case. I'll pass. Good news is we're at 20 life still. They might have to kill this Skyfisher. Nope, they just go for the face. That's their game plan. If they play, yeah, one of these guys, I get to Tithing Blade it, so that's pretty fun. Inspector's a really good draw too. So we're going to kill that, play an Inspector, and swing for 2. Hitting them faster than they're hitting us at the moment. I don't think this is a match that's going to go to time, so there's that for going for us. They suspend another Rift Bolt, cast down. I'm going to swing with both of these. I think we're just going to Deadly Dispute this Tithing Blade. I'm not really probably going to be transforming it. And then I'll play a Lembas, probably. Nice. We drew our land, play that Lembas, and we can even just throw out this Familiar, take another card from them, which I think is good. Chukabog doesn't seem particularly relevant. Play a Familiar, take another card, and pass to them. I think between their mull to 5 and our making them discard 2 cards, I don't really see them being able to keep up here with our advantage and our speed. But when they're on the play, if they don't mull to 7, if they don't mull to 5, I think that they have a very real shot of killing us. We do have some good life gain packed into the deck, but if we don't have that in the order we need, we might die. Then again, we are down already to 11, but we get to hit them down to 8 here. We have a Lembas 2 and a Clue to crack, so I think we're just going to crack that Clue, see if we draw like a land or something. Thraben Charm, probably irrelevant, but that's fine. We're going to pass, probably cycle this Suffocating Fumes. Not a match where we're going to Deadly Dispute a Lembas. That 3 life is pretty important here. So, and if they play like a Thermo Alchemist or something, all the better. We get to kill it because we have a lot of kill spells. Cycle that Suffocating. Speaking of kill spells, we have that Cast Down. Attack for 5 here. See if they want to go for a kill spell of their own. Looks like no. So I think we're just throwing out a Novice Inspector, holding up that Lembas. So if they don't kill us this turn, I don't think they're killing us at all. Unless they have like a board wipe. I guess they could have like 2 End the Festivities. Wipe most of our guys. No, they're going to concede there. All right, so we get Navigator's Compasses, and I don't actually know if these are any good in this match. It doesn't seem like it. They probably have Casting Flame Breathers and Thermo Alchemists, but I don't think much else. So I think we can take those out, but keep in the Tithing Blades and the Cast Downs. But Thraben Charms don't feel like they're going to be very good either. And I think that's probably it. Like Extract is whatever. Don't need Dust. Standard Bearer eats a Bolt, but that's it. So I think this is probably fine. Navigator's Compass, Refurbished. I think this is a keep. We have at least 1 way to offset a Bolt. Let's see if we go Goldmire turn 1, turn 2, Ancient Den, Novice, Refurbished. We have a pretty good start too. They did keep 7, so that's scary. Mountain and a Rift Bolt suspend is my guess. No? Ooh, not even. Okay. I thought that'd be a classic start to see. Also, speaking of classic starts, let's see if they have a Cast into the Fire for our Goldmire Bridge. Obviously pretty good. Oh, they Miracle a Thunderous Wrath? They didn't know they had that, so they just turn 2 Miracle. It's pretty good. The fastest possible Miracle without, like Simian Spirit Guiding. That's pretty annoying. Oh, they don't have a land, though. That's pretty good, but still pretty annoying. Well, Novice Inspector, Refurbished Familiar. We have a Navigator's Compass to gain us some life, Deadly Dispute to try to draw us for like Glint Hawks and stuff to pick up the Compass and play it again. Oh, and they discard another Thunderous Wrath, so not even really card that we made him discard. And they found their second mountain. We do have a cast down though, so that Thermal Alchemist is kind of good for us to see. Ooh, and of course Skyfisher. So I think we're just playing this cast down, attack for 3. I think we're playing the Basilica, but I will say we have one Kabira Crossroads in our deck. If we were to, I don't think it's unreasonable to hold the Basilica in order to potentially bounce a Kabira Crossroads, gain more life, but it's just 1 out of 60. There's no likelihood that we're going to pick it up soon, and I'd rather just get our tap land down and start playing more cards more efficiently. Because next turn, because we did the Basilica, we can play Navigator's Compass twice. Smash to Smithereens is pretty good, so they do get to kill our bird and bolt us as well. We're going to Navigator's Compass, Skyfish it back, and I could play it again, but I'm not in fear of dying this turn, so I might as well get down an Inspector that I can attack them with, and also not put the Compass down where they could potentially smash it to Smithereens. Of course, they have other options for Smash to Smithereens, but Compass is one that I'd prefer stays alive. We don't have another kill spell in hand, so if they do play another Thermal Alchemist, we don't necessarily have a way to kill it yet. They just Lava Spike, Skewer the Crit Excess. Okay, down to 9, but they only have 2 cards in hand, so we need a little more life gain. Compass is going to help. Tithing Blade doesn't do a lot. Let's attack for 4. Usually I want to crack a clue to itself as opposed to Deadly Disputing it for card advantage efficiency, but for speed, I think I'm going to just Deadly Dispute this so that we can try to find more ways to gain life, like a Lembas. So that's great. So I think I'm going to Ancient Den and just play Lembas and then hold it up. So I could play the Navigator's Compass, but either way, holding up Lembas or the Compass, this gains 3 life. By holding it up, I'm not susceptible to Smash to Smithereens, at least not on it. Deadly Dispute, I think we're going to keep that. We don't want to putz around too much and just like draw cards, but it's our only draw spell other than like a clue token, so I think it's okay as long as we don't die here. If they Thunderous Wrath us like off a miracle, we're gonna crack that Lembas so hard in response. That's for darn sure. They suspend a Rift Bolt. Okay, understood. And then they Chain Lightning us. We can't throw it back. Sad. They're going to pass. So I don't think we're going to die if we tap out here. So let's crack a clue. Cast down's not great. Ephemerate's okay. So let's play our Compass. Try not to die here. That offsets the Rift Bolt. We're at still a virtual 6. And then Basilica, bounce back the Ancient Den. I think we're just passing here. We hold up Deadly Dispute, Lembas. They're going to bolt us here, and then they're going to Rift Bolt, so we're at 3. So I should just crack this Lembas now, just in case they draw another bolt. This will not be lethal. So let's do that. And then I also have Ephemerate for the Skyfisher to buy back the Compass on our turn. So that should buy us a little more time. I think we're going to Deadly Dispute. If they have a Smash, it's pretty bad. Deadly Dispute this bridge, though. I think we're going to accept that they may have it and try to be mana efficient. Cast downs, whatever. Attack for 4. I mean, we have them next turn, so we just need to survive. So the way to do that, well, the best way we have to do that is to Ephemerate this Skyfisher, pick up the Compass, play the Compass, and they knew that they could not kill us there. Nice. Well, a 3-2 isn't bad. The Jeskai match, we got a little unlucky with that Cast into the Fire game 2, and the Dust to Dust coming at the perfect time game 3 was pretty frustrating. And then, we had another match in there that we lost. Overall, the deck is not bad. I don't think it's terrible. We still haven't gone, we didn't go up against any Writhe and Chrysalis matches, which I think is one of the worst ones because our Tithing Blades hit Eldrazi Spawn, and our Flyers run into a 4/5 really cheap Reacher. So, is the deck amazing in the format? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know for sure because I haven't played against all of the most meta decks. I've been playing against some more fringe decks, which is honestly pretty fun. But is the deck terrible? I don't think so. I mean, I still think it's fine. We got a 3-2, and I think we could have easily, relatively easily gotten, a 5-0 with it. Maybe a little bit more luck for sure, but I don't think it's like, oh, this deck's never going to trophy again. I think it's totally fine. As far as the deck, I don't really know if I would make many changes. You don't necessarily need 2 Suffocating Fumes main deck, but of course, Mono Red is a very powerful deck, so I don't hate having them either. I've seen some iterations that don't run Deadly Dispute. I think you could get away with, doing something else, but honestly, there were several matches there where they were really powerful and really, really good. I played against a version of this deck last week that was running Virus Beetle, which I think is just an inferior, significantly inferior Refurbished Familiar, so much that I don't really think it's worth playing. But it was also playing Hopeless Nightmare, which is kind of a cool one because it makes it so that your opponent discards a card, of course. It's an enchantment is the problem. So your Glint Hawks can't pick it up, but your core Skyfishers still can. And they were also running, I don't know if I even have this in here, Scroll Shift, which is kind of a cool one that makes it so that your, I don't. It's an Ephemerate, but it targets an artifact, enchantment, or a creature, and then it also draws you a card. The problem is it's 3 mana, which is very expensive, but it's able to hit your Hopeless Nightmares and your other stuff. So I don't think all those cards are very good necessarily. I think they're kind of interesting. I think this deck has a lot of open availability for innovation. I think anytime a deck falls off a little bit because the meta shifts, people are like, okay, that deck's dead. And really, that deck just needs a tune-up. It needs to evolve and adapt to the meta, as all decks do. And if people are not willing to put that time in, well, the deck's going to fall off because obviously new cards are going to be hard to balance against and to figure out how to counter. But if you put in a little bit of I don't know how metaphors work. If you put in some effort, then, I think the decks can still be viable. So, like, Boros Synth totally evaporated after Modern Horizons 3. Is the deck amazing? Probably not. Is it terrible? No, I think it's still fine. It just might need to adapt a little bit more. So, anyway, if you like this deck, let me know. If you hated it, let me know. Either way, you'll see it again if I want you to see it again. Okay? That's how things work here. I don't know what I'm saying. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.